Dude, it's all technical difficulties. It still says going live, and it says we're live. Okay, guys, sorry so much. Welcome to Tech Talk, first of all. Episode 11. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. We're about 5 minutes late. That is so unlike us, because we're such prompt individuals.
We're professionals.
Yeah, ran into some problems. My camera keeps getting thieveried away from Discord. And the way that we get the video source in here so that we're both in sync and everything works properly is we actually capture Discord's video output right into OBS instead of the cameras directly. Otherwise, you get this fight between OBS and the cameras. Anyways, the end result is everything was all tangled up, and we usually prepare for this show no more than 7 minutes before we start, because it's a good thing actually, because if you prepare too much, then it looks like it's scripted. So it's better when you just do everything like literally 7 minutes before you're supposed to start the show, and then everything turns out good. Can you guys in chat please let us know if our audio levels are good, if our visuals are good?
Hello.
Yeah, toast. Do give us a toast.
Ring a ding ding.
Well, that's not a toast. Where's the toast? Bring the toast.
I have cookies.
Actually, I have a breakfast sandwich here. I'm going to eat in front of you guys. I'll just set that right over there, because I mean, you woke up before me. I just woke up at 9:15. Oh, yeah. So we're going to let people start pouring in here. Oh, I forgot to send out all the tweets and all that stuff too. So while we're doing this, we'll go ahead and notify the world that we are currently streaming on YouTube. So hashtag TechTalk is live, and then we'll go ahead and put in a little youtube.com/Barnacules1. Let's go ahead and send that out to the Twitter sphere. I'm going to go over to the old Facebook, and I'm going to drop that on my personal Facebook so that my friends and family can show up and watch me embarrass myself on the internet.
Thank you, Ryan W, for the $10 Canadian.
Oh shit, man! Already throwing down. Yeah, we appreciate. Yeah, we appreciate those super chats, guys. We split them down the middle, and it keeps us alive during the Rona.
Keeping me fueled with coffee.
That's right. So far, I've dodged the Rona. Have you dodged the Rona?
If I have not, I didn't notice.
The weird thing is though, is like that can totally happen. Like you could totally just get it and not even know you have it, and then you can totally get it and need a ventilator, and you can totally get it. It's like it is the most random virus ever.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But luckily, my neighbors and stuff have all been taking it really seriously. The new social norm though is I go outside and I just sit on my porch, and my neighbors will like know that I'm outside. Like, I don't know if they're just like peeking out their windows and stuff, but my neighbors will know I'm outside, and then they'll come out and they'll sit on their porches, and we'll just have like these really in-depth conversations from like,
that's cool.
From like 50 feet away. Like my neighbors across the street, my neighbors to both sides of me. Well, I'll be sitting on the porch having like a 4-way conversation.
Cool.
So it's actually fairly therapeutic. So I would encourage everybody to get outside and talk to your neighbors from across the street. But if your neighbors start walking towards you all willy-nilly, just like run back in the house, close the door, and lock the door. And yeah, just start screaming, right? Blow your rape whistle and run inside. But no, it's been interesting how things have changed and how people have been adapting to this.
Oh man, I think you have a Swedish cousin. There's a guy here in the chat named Peter Berg.
Oh, we got a Peter Berg in the house.
It's Jerry's Swedish cousin.
I got a Peter Berg in my pants. I don't know. I don't know if I have any Swedish in me. I've got a lot of things in me, but I don't think Swedish is one of them. So
Peter's like, "Do you wanna?"
Hey Ryan, thank you for another $10 Canadian. Oh, dude, you couldn't have missed that one. Like if you tried. So, wow, man, Canada's just like throwing down. Did Canada get our stimulus checks?
Yeah, right. Those milk subsidies.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. I've been hearing a lot about Canada lately and how they're kind of handling this whole ordeal. It's not all dissimilar from how we're handling it down here. I think they're doing a lot of stay at home and social distancing and everything. It seems like they're like everybody's kind of on the same page with this thing globally.
Right.
So,
which is good. I mean,
yeah.
So I think we've touched on this a little bit before. Like, I think some people are taking it to an extreme where they're like, "Oh my gosh, Y2K apocalypse" kind of thing. And then there's others who are taking it to the other far extreme, where it's like, "Nah, fuck this. It's like fake news. It's chemtrails."
Yeah, public orgies,
like,
and yeah.
I'm gonna go do whatever the fuck I want because blah 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 blah, and like. I feel like look, it's not that hard to just stay home, or even to just limit your excursions and stuff. And it's like, you can't just take your own personal experiences into account.
Yeah.
Like I rarely get sick. Any season, any year, I very rarely get sick. So I may have been exposed. I might be carrying it and never really know it. And that's the thing. Like, it's all fun and games. It's all like, hey, this doesn't affect me until it's your grandma that dies, or like your buddy's mom who dies, or or like a friend who works in a hospital catches it and is wicked sick and has got to be locked in their basement for 3 weeks. It's like, there's this sense of individualism, especially in the United States, where it's like, as long as I'm okay, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's super uncool.
Yep. I do agree, though, that there is exaggeration on both sides. There definitely is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't really, the things that they're being asked, that we're being asked to do. I know that it does affect some folk really tough, man. Like,
oh, it does. Like, if you got a job, and you can't go to your job and you can't make a living, and it's like the stimulus isn't going to be a replacement for a job, obviously.
Not by a long shot.
Not by a long shot. So I understand why people are like really frustrated about that. But the other thing too is it's like the alternative is if you go to work and there ends up being an even bigger bloom, then you may not even have a job to go back to. You may not even have a job available to get, in the short term when this all blows over. So it's like, it's really tough decisions because nobody really knows what the perfect answer is. That, I'll even concede that. Like, nobody knows, right? All we can do is prepare for the worst case scenario. And and once we know more, then we can start maybe letting up the reins a little bit and start figuring stuff out. But my biggest fear is the medical system, because I go to the hospital for an emergency at least once a year. At least once a year, I'm in there getting a blood clot removed, or I'm going in there because I can't breathe because I got double lung pneumonia. I'm always in there at least once a year. I go in there because it's like my insurance, right? I pay so much for insurance. I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to get that $14,000 back. Every year I'm like, I'm going to the ER and I'm going to see how much I can fleece them for this time. But no, in all seriousness, it's like, I do need the hospital, and a lot of people need the hospital more than even I do, right? And if everybody's completely overwhelmed, it doesn't matter if I have something that's related to it or not. I'm not getting treatment. It's like there's only so many vacancies, when it's full, it's full. So, and the medical workers themselves getting sick. I've been seeing that, like in New York, a ton of the medical workers now are on ventilators. I was like, oh my God, you don't even really think about that in the beginning, but it's like, yeah, they're humans too, right? And they're the ones most susceptible to the virus, especially without personal protection stuff. And even with personal protection stuff, it's no guarantee, right? It all improves the situation, but unless you're in like a freaking positive air pressure bunny suit that you'd use like in a CDC weapons lab, you're not 100% safe. So it's sad seeing less doctors, less beds, less equipment, although we are ramping up on all that stuff now. So that's easing my conscience a little bit, but it's like scary not knowing if you'll have a bed when you go. Like, my entire life, the hospital is one of those places where it's like you just go and it's called the emergency room, because no matter what, it's like they're going to take you and hook you up to a bunch of wires and they're going to figure you out and fix you no matter what. Like, your heart stops going there, they're going to have the the electrocutors and hit you with them and intubate you and all that. And it's like, now I think about it more like it's a hotel during like spring break. It's like, is there going to be a room available? Like, if I call 911, will an ambulance even show up? Like, am I just going to be out on my front porch gasping?
And that's the thing, right? Like, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Oh. All we can do is stay safe, though. Just stay safe, people. It won't last forever. I mean, we've had things like this happen before, in the way before. They just spread a lot faster now.
We'll be fine. It's, I mean, in a general large scale sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything, I genuinely believe everything changes forever from this point on. Just like everything, right? It's like wars happen, 9/11, all those events changed us. And like a completely, I don't even know what the word is for it. Like, you couldn't even see it coming, like that kind of change happened in your life. Like I remember after 9/11, it's like everybody knows 9/11, like worldwide, everybody knew what happened. They know what happened there. The fear is there, fear of terrorism, all that stuff. All that stuff was like, didn't exist the day before 9/11 and always existed after. Yeah. And I think with this, we're going to have the same thing. Like, once it goes away, we're all going to be acutely aware of these diseases that can just rear their heads and pop up and potentially wipe out humanity. So we're all gonna be. I mean, you're probably not gonna see as many handshakes. You're not gonna see as many people. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Like, what do conventions look like after this?
Oh yeah, I think at least for the rest of this year, they're not going to happen, and then after like the next year, I think you're going to see a lot less handshakes. You're going to see a lot more, like every booth will have hand sanitizer.
Yep.
I think I think a lot more masks, even if it isn't like a really like an issue.
Yep.
I think people will be having their bandana masks, just to if nothing else but for a security blanket.
Yep. Well, you said that San Diego Comic-Con, right? That's one of our topics today. Is they're closed.
Yeah.
They've canceled.
Just saw that yesterday, I believe.
And that's a huge convention. That is a massive convention.
It's like 250,000 people or something. It's insane. It's huge.
Yeah.
Bigger than PAX, bigger than TwitchCon. It dominates the San Diego Convention Center for 4 days, and they're saying nope, it's going to come back. They're not even delaying it; they're canceling it this year. Completely gone. They're not coming back till next year.
And that seems to be a common theme with all the conventions so far. I don't think LTX has made a call yet because they're still pretty far out.
Sure.
But yeah, you got San Diego Comic-Con wiped out. You got all the Vegas events, like all of them. NAB.
Dude, Vegas is practically shut down. Like the whole city.
Yeah,
is practically like done.
The busiest town in the United States. Like what do they call it? What's the slogan or something? The city never sleeps.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Oh, no, that's New York.
That's New York. What is Vegas's slogan? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Okay, that doesn't really apply here. But yeah, apparently it does, and it goes everywhere. But yeah, it's like Vegas is just a ghost town right now. I was like watching a show on it the other day where they were walking through, and there's hardly anybody on the streets, and all the casinos' lights are still on, but like they're all closed and all the doors are shut. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Exactly. Even state parks are even closed. I noticed that all the parks, even like the little park down on the corner from my house, they had to physically go in there and put like crime scene tape on everything because people kept going in there. Like I drove by there about a month ago, and there must have been 100 kids there, more than I've ever seen at the park in my entire life. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay, you guys are not following the rules. God damn it. So the police were like getting sick of having to like pull up and disperse everybody, and then the second they leave, everybody come back. So they went and had to rope off. So now it looks like like a crime scene. Where there's just yellow tape wrapped around everything, like closing it down. And then the big park that we have in my town is down by the police department, and they're actively turning people away that are going down there because they're still letting people like walk on the paths, like the nature trails and stuff like that. But they're not allowing people to like go into the park and like congregate. It's weird, man. It's weird because it's like I can understand people's point of view that it's like, okay, well, so much for freedom. Like there's a lot more control, but at the same time, it's like I'm glad that we have a mechanism in place that prevents us doing like some of these other countries are doing. You know what I mean? Like
the thing is, it's not like we're not under martial law. A lot of this is just strong suggestions. You're not being locked into your house. This isn't some sort of like authoritarian fucking dystopia where, the state has taken over and is, which, by the way, they easily could have twisted this into something horrendous as far as like personal freedoms and stuff go. This is the kind of emergency that gives people incredible unlimited powers. Okay. Like, so just stay at home, okay? Like it's not.
Yeah, and I mean the
police.
Outside,
don't touch your face.
The police are just like if they see people like gathering in groups, they're just telling them, hey, break it up, guys, break it up, guys. I mean, as far as I know, I haven't heard of any, even at least here in Washington, I haven't heard of anybody being like arrested or incarcerated.
I have heard of some major, not in Washington, but in other places. I have heard that they're giving out big fines for I think it was California was giving out a big fines for being out unnecessarily or like in groups and stuff.
I have heard that some places are doing
just
that.
One person.
Yeah. No, I think even two is fine. From what I heard, I think it was just like 3 or more. They were like dispersing, or they'd fine you. But I think the fines were more of like if you keep repeating it or you're not taking it seriously, then you get fined. Because everything I've been seeing has been just cops basically going around just asking people to please disperse. and you know, keep some distance between them. But it's but then you got the people, of course, that are out there just trying to antagonize law enforcement, right? That's something I've been seeing a lot on the news lately. It's like you got people just like walking up and down the streets with like their AR slung over their back, screaming, you know, we're not prisoners. It's like, dude, the fact that you can even do that shows you're not a prisoner. Like, why are you complaining about being a prisoner while you're walking up down the street protesting with a sign and a gun slung across your back? You can't get no more freedom than that, dude. Like, what are you screaming about? That's like you like walking into some place and be like, I didn't win the lottery, as you're holding like bags of money. I didn't win the lottery. They called my numbers, but I didn't win it. It's like, come on.
Look, the government is not saying fuck freedom to pull off of somebody here in chat. That's not at all. Like, there's an old cliche line that says that like your right to, it's something along the lines, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase, but it's something along the lines of like, your right to swing your arm ends where my nose begins, right? Yeah, you have the freedom to go around, but your freedom to go around and do shit stops where it starts to affect me. And like, the government's coming in and saying, you people are fucking over other people, and that is not okay. You are putting other people at risk because you say fuck the government, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, Miss Liz said her friend's nephew was just rollerblading in a parking lot by himself and got an $850 fine. Wow.
That's not cool.
Yeah, fight that one. Definitely. Yeah, go to court and fight that one.
We should probably move along, but like,
I like this is the weird thing. It's like AuxxZillary. I like seeing old AuxxZillary get a little worked up. It's fun to see him get a little worked up, but boy, when he gets worked up, whoa, man! I like turning the crank on him.
Like, look,
I'm with you though, man. I am with you. Like, it's so frustrating.
They're not. It's like they're not coming for your guns. You know, they're not fucking. They're not making you. It's just.
Nope, my AR-15 is still safe, guys. I'll let you know if the cops come and steal my AR-15. I'll let you know. These
aren't even laws. Like, it's not something that was signed into law.
Yeah.
These are they're not even like executive order kind of things. It's a strong suggestion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just and like.
And if you do get a ticket, like, honestly, fight that stuff. If you're alone in a parking lot and you get a ticket for like rollerblading around, unless the ticket is like trespassing because the place was literally closed, like, go fight it, man. Like, there's no judge at the end of this who's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to make an example of this 15-year-old kid with an $800 ticket because he was rollerblading by himself in a parking lot. Like, that's one of those things where it's like, literally, like, vlog that shit, put it on the internet, and you'll make like 15 times more money than what the ticket was for, and it'll get dropped. So it'll be like a blessing in disguise.
Right?
It's boring, but whatever. I'll deal with it. Keep everyone safe. No, I mean, that's the thing is, right? Boredom is the enemy with this whole thing. It's like a lot of people are just getting itchy and want to go outside because a lot of people got their entertainment outside. I'm one of the fortunate humans that it's like, I feel like I've been training for this my whole life. Because it's like, what has changed in my life? I still wake up in my pajama pants. I can still walk upstairs and get in front of my camera. I still beg strangers on the internet for money, and they throw it at me, and somehow that pays my bills. So it's like, my life hasn't changed that much. So the first thing I try to check myself on is I don't want to put myself in a position to be like, oh, guys, just do this. This is easy and everything, just because it happens to be that my life kind of fits with this already. Because keep in mind, I have to watch my wife and kid, which are very much outdoor humans, and they're struggling with this like immensely compared to me, and they're locked in a house with me. Oh my God. Like, could you imagine that, dude? Like, you only have to put up with me for like 2 hours a week. They're here all the time. So I feel genuinely bad for my family. So shout out to Miss Barnacules and Xander for putting up with old crotchety daddy, because I'm not always as cool as I am on the internet, guys. Sometimes I lose my shit. Well, but just about every day. So let's see here. Aaron Richards said people seem to think clapping stops the virus here in the UK. Wait, doesn't it though? I thought it did. Man, you're challenging my expectations here. Singing Wolf, thank you for that $10 tip. That's our first American money. Thank you for the 10 American dollarinos. Said, love you guys. Will a GTX 1080 run so he said, will a GTX 1080 run 224-inch 144 hertz 1080p monitors? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Like not even with a struggle. He said, without a big impact on single screen gaming. Dude, it's not going to have hardly any impact at all on single screen gaming. That's the cool thing about multi-monitor gaming is when you go full screen on one of the screens and it's in 3D mode, you're basically getting the whole GPU for that one screen, and the other screen's just being composited with just what little the graphics card has allocated for like the 2D rendering stuff. So I've never really seen a difference. Yeah, like even when I have three right now. Well, I won't go by what I have right now because what I had before will make more sense in your scenario. Is I used to have three 1080p monitors, so now I have three 4K screens, but I had three 1080p 42-inch screens that I used for years. And I had, let's see, I had a 980, two 980 graphics cards, which is far less performance than a 1080. A 1080 will wipe the floor with two of the 980s. I had two of the 980s, and anytime that I did single screen gaming, where I basically just had these two monitors showing the desktop and the center full screen gaming, the only difference between that and physically shutting the monitors off and like unplugging them from the computer was like 2 frames per second. So it wasn't even significant. I saw that. It wasn't even significant. So no. As long as you're running like Windows 10, it's really, really efficient with how it renders the desktop and stuff. So as long as you don't have a bunch of stuff on the other screens that's like compositing graphics and 3D and stuff like that, you're not going to notice any really tangible difference to single screen gaming. And I would even argue that you should try yourself some multi-screen gaming. It's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, the NVIDIA Surround.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to enable and disable, but man, it's cool. Like, especially if you do racing games, flight simulators, or anything like that, peripheral vision's amazing. FPS, like a lot of people don't like one monitor for FPS because that's what they're used to, you know, one small high refresh monitor. But I loved playing Battlefield across 3 screens. I loved having that peripheral vision where I could see people like creeping up on me out of the corner of my eye, thinking that I couldn't see them from that angle, and be like, "Bitch, I see you!" Pow, 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 you know. And but you don't really see a ton of multi-screen gaming outside of simulation and stuff anymore. It feels like it's kind of one of those things that's died off a bit. But I think that's more because of the inconvenience of how NVIDIA's software works more than the actual surround itself. I still think people actually enjoy the surround. I definitely enjoy the effect. What I don't like is how it enables and disables, and I don't understand why NVIDIA makes it so goddamn hard.
Yeah, it would be cool. Man, I've seen some really neat setups, especially I think if it's like a weird cross. Like, do I want to spend the money on a VR thing for like Elite Dangerous or hell, even Star Trek Online or something, you know, would be pretty freaking cool, I think, in VR. Or do I drop a couple extra bucks or maybe a little less on 2 more of the monitors like I have now?
That's a tough decision, though, man. That's a tough decision.
I have a 39-inch LG TV. It's technically a TV.
Yep.
And I think I could probably still find it's very old now. It's 7 years old or so now. I could probably find 2 more of them for cheap. But it's like,
I think having multi-monitors for like productivity and long-term gaming is awesome. But VR, dude, like especially now, like being cooped up in the house, one of the things I like about VR is the depth perception. Because you can feel like you're in a huge environment, and it's very convincing to your brain. Like, you can kick back on your couch, have cathedral sound on, and be in, like, a giant, like, stadium, and you feel like you're in a big, wide open space. And that's what I like about VR, is I feel like they could even use it to treat, like, phobias and stuff. Like, I don't even know, they might already be doing it, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like more comfortable. I watched a movie sitting in a theater. This is the stupidest thing when you explain it to somebody until you try it. So it's like, dude, you should watch a movie in VR. Why would I do that? It's lower resolution than my screens. I have this big TV or whatever. Dude, try it sometime. Like, you're sitting in VR, watching a movie in a movie theater. You can sit in any seat you want in the theater and kick back, and you can look around, and you have the audio when you turn your head. The stereo has like the parallax effect and everything with the screen, and the environment adds a little echo that makes it feel bigger than it is, and your depth perception, you feel like it's bigger than it is, and you don't notice the drop in resolution. Like, you're watching movies and they still look absolutely fantastic, even though realistically they're like potato resolution.
Right.
But it's a neat experience. And then you can also like open it up so people can just jump in to your theater. Like, people just start showing up in your theater, and you can hear them talk, and you can talk to them, or you can mute them and stuff. So it's like you can have this communal experience, and when you explain it to people, they're like, man, that sounds like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. And then you try it, and you're like, this is actually pretty awesome. Like, this is something cool. Yeah. So I highly recommend that if you guys do have a VR headset, even if it's something like Google Cardboard or something like that, it doesn't matter. Like, go check out those experiences. It's really cool.
Even the cell phone, like I've tried out the Samsung one where it's like you click your phone in front of your face, and it works.
Yeah,
dude, it's a trip. Like, it's actually pretty good. So like, yeah, for sure. If you have any way of doing some kind of VR, I highly recommend trying it out. It is a trip.
Yeah.
It is really, really cool.
And a lot of people I know are like, I don't like VR. And it's like, when did you last try it? Oh, the Oculus like DK1. No, dude. It's so changed.
Oh yeah.
Even the cell phone VR experience, like when you're talking like new modern OLED screens with super high resolution and stuff, it's nothing like the old VR experience. If you tried it and you got sick, for instance, a lot of people are like, oh, it made me sick, I never wanted to try it again. Keep in mind that was because the refresh rates in the leg were really bad back in those days. Nowadays, it's like, minimum you're looking at like 80 frames, 90 frames per second. Some of the stuff like the Valve Index does like, what, 144 hertz per eye, and it's like zero latency. So like people that used to get the seasick effect, they don't really get it anymore. Like the way that they do it, they don't have the ghosting, they don't have any of the blurring. The screen door effect is now minimal on some of the headsets. It's really worth trying. If you haven't tried it in a long time, please by all means give it a try. Let's see what we got going over in chat here. He said, I mean, it's not perfect per se, Barnacules, but it's a start though. You getting after your program? Do it, man. He was saying thank you for getting him into game development.
Yeah, man, dude, now's the time. Try shit out.
It is.
Like, and I cannot stress this enough. Like, just put stuff out there. Like, if you're getting into game development,
yep,
write or make videos talking about that. Like, I'm bad about this because like I haven't been streaming for like 6 weeks. I just did like a 20-minute stream on the drive over here, and it was nothing but love and positivity from my normal set of nerds who are always there, and which warmed my heart. And it's like, man, I kind of used this as almost as an excuse. Like, part of me's been really down about and just kind of bored, and like, man, like I've been down about the content and stuff. Like, I want to build PCs and this and that, but like at the same time, like there's still other content to be made. If you do game dev, you have to create a full game. No, you don't. It can just be a bunch of tech demos.
Dude, actually,
I'm gonna write about how to make a guy jump.
No, I know.
I'm gonna do collision detection today. It doesn't have to be a full game.
No, 2 words, man. Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird. Literally, the dude wrote that entire game in one day, and that game made like $400 million. The dude made so much money, he just literally took the game off the store, and then later on, like, tried to put it back when like 1,000 people cloned it. Didn't even matter. He already made his fortune. Like, it does not take. All you have to do to make a game is pretty much the mechanics of any good game. Is it has to have an addictive. It can be repetitive as shit, but it has to be addictive. You have to feel like you can beat your previous score, so there has to be some kind of a scoring system or some kind of a scoring or reward mechanic. Basically, it has to be like a slot machine, right? Lots of dings, lots of bells and whistles, lots of things that you're like that make you feel rewarded and give you that nice little dopamine burst when you do something right.
Yeah, do a quick Google search of game theory real fast, and the risk reward response.
Yep. Just look at Raid Shadow Legends. They do it perfectly.
I think they just have a massive marketing budget. I don't know. Like,
dude, did you see that? Like, all
insane.
the YouTubers now are totally turning on Raid. Did you see that?
Like, against it? Or
against it. Like, if you
shilling.
If you do a search. Okay, so here, let me give you the story, because this is actually really interesting. So Raid, if you guys have noticed, like, everybody's had a sponsorship from Raid Shadow Legends. Like, everybody. Doesn't matter if you're like a makeup channel. It doesn't matter. Like, even big channels like Hacksmith and stuff like that have had Raid Shadow Legends.
Crazy.
And the thing, and I mean, it's weird. It's like even like channels that only have like 1,000 subscribers. And I know to a lot of people are like 1,000 subscribers, but
coach,
they're literally getting these Raid Shadow Legends thing, getting paid $800 all the way up to $15,000 for one spot in the video. It's like, today's video is Raid Shadow Legends, and all they have to do is read a script. Well, actually, that was one of the requirements, and why it's so bad is they have to read a script. They have to play the game for like 30 seconds. No, hold it up, dude. Keep that up so they can read it. So,
actually, to just real fast, let me
interject.
Put this in there.
Interject.
I have been reached out by a couple people when I had to sign up, and I got super nervous because I didn't know what to ask, and like they genuinely wanted a spot on the paper behind me. And if you're in the chat right now, I'm really, really sorry. I should just put up the links you guys sent me. just as a nice thing to do, because I feel really bad that I kind of ignored it. I was shocked. I didn't think anybody would actually reach out to me, and I freaked out.
Welcome to the internet.
So I apologize for that. I'm just gonna put up the I think next time, because my printer's poop right now. But next time I'll just put up the guys who reached out to me, just as a matter of course. But then I'll take it a lot more serious. I didn't think anybody would actually like take me up on it.
And I told you they would. I told you they would.
So I'm really sorry about that. But I hope you guys are in the chat. I'll reach out to you guys who've messaged me. I feel really bad, and I'm sorry.
And back to Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends.
So Raid Shadow Legends, the reason they're getting their ass handed to them is because they did this viral marketing campaign, then publicly said that they didn't sponsor any YouTubers that didn't already play the game, which was total bullshit. Like, it turned out that they even reached out to me at least a dozen times. And the best offer that I got was $5,000 for one 60-second pre-roll on one video that gets 100,000 views. That's and just for me to be like, I play Raid Shadow Legends, come find me in the game, which like nobody played it after that. The thing with Raid Shadow Legends is it's a pay-to-win game. It basically lets you play for free for a little while, and then you get to the point where literally you can't get anywhere unless you start pumping money into the system. And then they basically let you just continuously get destroyed and decimated, which pisses you off and fucks with your brain's reward system to the point where you're like, even though you never intended to pay any money, you feel obligated to because you put so much time into it and you need to get to the next phase. And the worst thing about it is they added a feature to the game where it just plays itself. You just push a button and you just watch the game, and it's turn-based, random roll dice strategy. There's no real story to it or anything like that, but it basically works. The people that made the game, they found out, it's actually a casino company. It's a company that makes gaming machines for casinos. Is the company that bought the rights to Raid Shadow Legends and developed it into what it is today, which is this massive pay-to-win. So they're using gambling strategies that there's actually laws in place to protect casinos from doing this to patrons, right? And but they're doing that in the game. And they're using the game's mechanics as currency to reward you, just like CSGO skins and stuff like that. And so it's basically like the biggest gambling scam in YouTube's history is this Raid Shadow Legends game. And people are like getting completely addicted to it because they're using that reward model of, oh, you get this character and this character gets buffed. And then, oh, if you just spend like $5, you'll save yourself 6 months of grinding. And you're like, well, it's only $5 and then I don't have to do 6 months. And they're basically pitting everybody against everybody. And this massive, and just to be clear, there's a lot of pay-to-win games out there, but the difference being is Shadow Legends pretty much requires you at a certain point to pay money. Otherwise, you just sit and spin and get your ass handed to you, and you basically just lose your ability to move forward.
It's like I've played a few games where like the gameplay slows to a crawl if you don't throw money down.
Right, but it's still enjoyable. Like some of them are still like World of Warships, for instance, right? It's technically a pay-to-win game because there is a situation where they put you in where it's like you need to buy bigger and better ships and stuff like that, but you don't have to. That's the difference between Raid and there's an actual game there. Raid is literally just a dice rolling game. It's literally no different than you playing craps with awesome graphics. Funny. World of Warships requires skill. Like you can actually go into World of Warships and go get paired up with a bunch of people that have similar equipment to you that didn't use pay to win, and you can actually fight each other and there's strategies involved and stuff like that. So World of Warships actually does really well. Like World of Warships follows that formula of you can literally get everything in the game by grinding that you can paying for it. It's just the grind sometimes is like unrealistic. But there's still a tangible game there. There's a game there that people enjoy, and there is strategy to it. Raid Shadow Legends, zero strategy. Absolutely zero strategy. You can literally just push a button on the screen that says play the game for me, and you can sit there and watch, and it'll do the same thing that you would do as a player. Pick the attacks and which does the most damage and attack the people. And then if it fails, it just starts over and does it again and does it again. You basically just have a game that's like cookie clicker. And you're paying money to make Cookie Clicker go further. So anyways, all these YouTubers have been, is it legal for children to gamble? No, it isn't, but that's what these games are all about. They're about getting children to gamble without them technically gambling, and that's why Raid is under fire. So if you go to a search for Raid Shadow Legends on YouTube, the top like 300 videos now are all like Raid Ripoff Legends, Raid Scam Legends, Raid... it's all these different YouTubers that basically turned down Raid Shadow Legends script and payment system. And that's a pretty bold move to see a bunch of YouTubers band together and do that, because generally you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, just as a general rule through your life. And Raid Shadow Legends, the company, is one of the highest paying sponsorships out there. Wow. However, people just are like, we can't, in good faith support this anymore. Now, to be fair, the people that did the Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship in the beginning, they didn't know that this was a scam. They didn't know that it was pay to win. They didn't know any of this because, quite frankly, they didn't play the game. Like, they didn't play it for any meaningful amount of time. And to be honest, like, if you're a YouTuber that does games, and then I'll call bullshit on you because you should have actually played it. But if you're a YouTuber that's like a woodworking shop, like a lot of these Raid Shadow Legends were on like channels that are like makeup tutorials and shit. Like, obviously you're not playing Raid Shadow Legends. You're taking the money, you're getting your $1,000 or $5,000 for 60 seconds of your time, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. I mean, I've shilled hard before. I fucking got paid. My record is $3,500 for literally taking one picture of me drinking a fucking Modern Warfare 2 Slurpee out of a Slurpee cup in front of a 7-Eleven. That's still to this day one of the craziest sponsorships I ever had. They paid me $3,500 to stand in front of a 7-Eleven. They even mailed me the cup because the 7-Elevens didn't have the Warfare 2 cups yet. They mailed me a cup in UPS, a disposable cup, like you'd put a Slurpee in. I went into a 7-Eleven. I told the clerk there because he was looking at me funny because I had a camera. And I was like, I actually have a sponsorship through 7-Eleven. I showed him the letter because they had me print out a letter that I could hand anybody that asked me questions that said that I had full legal rights to be there to take this picture. So I filled up my story. And don't worry, I put ad everywhere. It was an Instagram. It was only an Instagram post. I didn't post it anywhere else.
That's good.
And I put hashtag ad on it. And I specifically put down in the first comment on this video, this is an advertisement for this Slurpee. And so I went and I took a picture of the cup, one picture. And they paid out. They did. A week later, I got a check for $3,500 in the mail for this one picture I posted that maybe got like 100 likes. Like, they did not get their mileage out of it. But they were going around and doing it to everybody. Like, it was one of those things where it's like everybody's was doing the sponsorship, and they approached me and I was like, "Fuck yeah, man, $3,500 for taking a drink of a Slurpee? Shit, yeah." And I already liked Slurpee, so it wasn't like I even had to spit it out or anything.
It's like, I'm doing this anyway.
I'm doing it anyways. But the thing with that is, it's like, one, it is positioned as an ad. Two, it's not encouraging other people to gamble. It's not fleecing other people. The reason Raid Shadow Legends can give so much money to influencers is because on average, if you get a bunch of people to start playing for free, even if 1% of the people that you get to play the game and discover the game get hooked on that gambling model and start paying in that money into the system, they get their money back like very, very quickly. And that's why they have the marketing budget that they do. They're literally a gambling company that made the game. So you can't, well, I shouldn't say they made the game. They were the ones that bought the game and actually built the game into the shithole that it is today. So it's the most advertised and like least played game. Yeah. I mean, there is. It really is. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't diss sponsorships because I think sponsorships are actually a great thing, especially with YouTube the way it is today. Like, the reason you get the content, the reason you get the Colin Furs making fucking rocket ships and shit in his backyard, all that stuff is funded through sponsorships. So I am 100% team sponsorship. But what I am against is sponsorships that are predatory. I do not like predatory sponsorships, and I've always avoided them throughout my entire career.
The only one that I've done so far was for this company called Tunai, and they wanted me to talk about their headset.
Is that the plural of tuna?
These headphones. But so they wanted me to try out these headphones. It's headset, right?
Yep.
And they sent me two pairs of headsets. They sent me this thing with this wand, which is it's like a Bluetooth. It says it's a Bluetooth audio transmitter. So like you plug this into like your TV, and then your Bluetooth phone, your Bluetooth headset will set up on this.
Oh, okay.
That kind of a thing. And dude, it was awesome. Like, and I still to this day I use those headphones nearly every single day, and like I'm long since done with my contract with them. I'm not just saying this to get more money or anything. Like, this is not a sponsored spot. They were a great people to work with. They make a product that does what it says on the tin. I liked it. I said that I liked it, and it was a great experience, and I would love to do more of that kind of a thing.
Yeah, my rule is with and again, everybody's different, but my rule of sponsorships is I won't sign a contract. I will not sign a contract. Like, if you want me to review your product or you want me to do something like that, then you have to give me full reign and give up any legal liability of me saying that your thing's a piece of shit if you send it to me and it's a piece of shit. So,
yeah, I was, my contract only said, like, I had to do X number of Instagram posts, X number of Twitter posts, and I had to, I had their logo on my stream for a month or something like that.
Yep.
I could say whatever I wanted, but as long as I hit those other check marks, we were golden.
Yeah, in most sponsorships, the reason why I don't have a lot of sponsorships is honestly because they want you to sign a contract, right? They want to have something legally binding to hold you to something. I understand why people do that. Like, if you're a marketing company, you need to basically secure the person and know that person, you know, so you know what your market is and where your budget's going and everything like that. I totally understand why it exists. I just don't like it. I don't like signing contracts because if something shows up and I don't like it, I need to be able to eject that thing and throw it in the garbage and just be like, nope.
I think it's important that I think it's important to be able to say whatever you want.
Absolutely.
About the thing. And I feel like nowadays that that scripted sort of sponsorship is I would think is less the norm than it used to be, because like
not with Raid.
Yeah, right. But people can tell, and like I know for sure in marketing that they that bigger or just brands in general are somewhat not targeting big influencers as much. They've been looking more at micro influencers and stuff, people with like 1,000 to 10,000 followers and whatnot. Yep. Because you can hyper target, like, you know, you can and you can get a better feel for the kind of person that you're communicating with.
Yeah, the other problem that you have with the big influencers is not just the diversity of the audience, but the thing is the big sponsors or the big guys get paid so much money for the sponsorships that they start becoming really disingenuous. Like, and I'm not saying that's always the case, but it's true. Like, if you're you know, somebody who's pulling down 10 million views on each video or whatever, that marketing company is going to have to pay you $15,000 to $35,000 to get that 60-second ad spot. And that person's not going to take the time to like go through and learn your product and everything. Like, one of the models I actually really like is Lou from Unbox Therapy. The thing I like about him is like his entire model is based on just sitting down at a desk, opening something up for the first time, saying if it's a piece of shit or not. And he will say if it's sponsored or if it's he has to at that size. Like, the FCC would just roast him. But he just sits down, he goes through and he's like, oh, this company sent me this or whatever, you know, blah, blah, opens up, okay, this is a piece of shit or this is okay. And he plays with it for a little while, and it comes off as genuine because, one, he'll shit on something if he doesn't like it, like straight up, like he doesn't care, and he has that worked into his contract. And the other thing too is there's no expectations of him like reading a script or anything like that. Like, nobody requires that because he gets so much viewership and he brings so much attention to the product that they really don't give a shit what he says. Like, people are going to know what that product is regardless of what he thinks about it. It's the little influencers that they push around, though. That's the one thing I don't like, is they push around little influencers. The marketing companies. I'm not even saying I'm not even saying the companies themselves, because they'll hire a marketing company and say, just, you know, here's our budget, get people to, you know, check out our product, and then the marketing company will be the one that drums up the script and everything and sends it to you because they want to maximize how many hits they can get because they get a percentage of whatever you produce for that company in a lot of respects. Same thing with like affiliate links and stuff like that. They middleman everything. So they want you to read a script. I've had companies literally send me a thing saying, oh, would you be interested in reviewing this product? And then like right under that, after they just said, you review this product, it's like, here's a list of the talking points you have to hit. The pre-roll has to be within 1 minute of the start of the video. You can't say anything negative about the company for up to 365 days. By signing this contract, you agree to not hold this company liable for this. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, I even reply back to it. I'm like, take me off your list. I don't ever want to hear from you guys again. And then like 2 months later, I'll get another. I get at least 10 a week from marketing, even though I haven't been active on YouTube, just because they find your YouTube channel, they find you have a bunch of subscribers, and they just start sending out mass bulk emails to every YouTuber that has a certain amount of people, and they're like, would you want to review our product? And the thing is, a lot of times it's not even a product I'd review. Like, I had a company reach out to me that was like, we have a clothing line. Would you like to review our our hoodies and stuff? And they're blah, 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 100% this and everything. It's like, dude, do you realize that I'm just like a dude that has no fashion sense whatsoever? I'm a guy that does mostly technology videos. Like, I'm not going to review your fucking, you know, Supreme t-shirt on my YouTube channel. But they don't check. That's the thing, is they don't do any research. That's one thing that's clear with these marketing companies, is none of them do any research.
Yeah, no, they just look at big number. I feel like that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna approach somebody with a product that doesn't match, like, what are you doing as a marketer, as a marketing person? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you don't. I'm sorry, but like I'm, you know, I'm not going to approach James Charles and have him do a PC review. tell him how much it works for his workflow. Like,
yeah.
like it's not the right target audience. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's weird.
Yeah, and I don't even know why that you'd think that would harm their brand to be doing stuff like that. You know, to seek out and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to pay this guy, you know, because a lot of these YouTubers, especially the small ones, it's like, if they get an offer for $1,500, they're going to do it, man. If they get an offer for $500, they're going to do it. Sure. And then what you're doing is you're taking advantage of them, because now what you're doing is having them shit all over their own brand and compromise their own integrity. And again, I'm not going to say it's not their fault for taking it and falling for it, but at the same time, it's like you're luring this fish in front of these people that like their dream is to make a living online. And it's like, if they can pull one $500 thing a month, they can all of a sudden, you know, go and justify it to their significant other or whatever and be like, listen, I'm actually like, this is a real thing. I'm making a living. But then what they don't realize is they lose all their integrity and flush it down the toilet. And I've seen so many YouTube channels do that, where they just go from doing like regular product reviews around their house to everyth's a battery pack. All of a sudden it's the battery pack review channel. And you're like, well, I know as a YouTuber where that comes from. China, that's the first product you get. If you are a YouTube tech reviewer, the first companies that approach you are battery packs and small dollar items, like stuff that's sub $10 to produce, right?
Yeah.
And then you work your way up through the queue, right? As a YouTuber, you start getting bigger and bigger offers, the more people that you get and the more views that you get. But I do remember the massive bombardment I got from battery manufacturers. Like if you see a YouTube channel and all of a sudden like they're reviewing like every battery pack on the planet from Amazon, it's because they've been approached by these guys that want them to do it.
Funny.
Hey, I want to take a second to recognize the super chats here.
Super chats.
Z-Blatz, thank you for being so patient. Thank you for that 10 pounds. He said, I have an old Quadro 600. He said, is there any use for it nowadays? Quadro 600, or 6,000, that's pretty old. But yeah, I mean, there's still a use for it. You could still use it as technically, actually, I don't even know if you could use that as a PhysX card.
Is it P6000?
I don't know if it's a P6000. It's just Quadro 6000. So that would be the sixth generation, right? So I'm curious. Quadro 6000. Let's see what we're looking at here.
We're talking still Fermi, right?
Yeah, let's see. Oh wow, okay, that's not as bad as I was thinking though. That's a 6 gigabyte GDDR5, so it's not that crazy old.
If that's the one you're talking about, that's still a pretty decent card.
Yeah, it is. They're still selling these things for $150 on eBay. Like that's not.
I mean, what are you gonna do with it? You know.
I mean, it's a workstation card, right? So you're not going to be like doing gaming and stuff on it. But if you're rendering, like for rendering 3D and stuff like that, like in place, I think it's still got life in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $150 usually when a card is like end of life and there's nothing left in it, you see them on eBay for like $25. You don't see them on there for. Yeah. I mean, they're selling upwards of $250 for some of them.
I've seen it listed at $250 on Amazon.
Yeah, and it's even listed as a PCI 16 card. So with GDR, I mean, that's not as old as I thought. I thought it was a much older generation. Yeah. So powered by NVIDIA Turing architecture. Let's see.
That's what you want to do with it. But it's still pretty decent, I would say.
Wait a second. The Quadro? Oh no, sorry, that's the RTX 6000. Sorry, I was looking at the new generation. I was like, wait a second, that's a really good one.
Like $4,000.
Yeah, that one's $1 million because it said RTX, and I'm like, there's no fucking way an old card like that supports RTX. That's crazy. But yeah, no, I'd still keep it around. I'd throw it in a box and use it for something. Let's see, or sell it on eBay. That's a $150 paycheck right there.
Response. You'll probably get 10-bit color response out of it if you're into like color correction or photo editing and stuff.
Plus, the Quadro cards are designed to run at like 100% duty cycle 24/7.
Yeah, so, they're real good.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't chuck it, but you know, if you have no use for it and you'd rather get something better, sell it for $150 on eBay, like all day long. Yeah. Let's see, Pup Shepherd. Oh, hey, what's up, Pup? Thank you for the $10 tip. He said, "Have you seen the late night show YouTube channels? They really don't know what they're doing. It's funny because established YouTubers came from nothing and are able to work on a skeleton crew. It is really. I will admit, it is funny. I've been watching the ones I've been watching, and honestly, it's been a cringe fest. Is Jimmy Kimmel." And Conan actually got it figured out. Like, I think Conan O'Brien's kind of got it figured out. He's like doing shit like hanging out of his windows and pretending that he's Spider-Man and pouring like whiskey on his Cheerios and stuff. So he's still funny. But you're absolutely right. These guys that are used to working in front of a live audience, they're like completely fucking lost. Like you see these productions and it looks like they're set. I mean, they still look like they got a decent camera and audio equipment, but it's like they're setting it up and doing it solo. And honestly, in some cases, I don't think they're solo, guys. I think that they still have a camera dude that's coming over and setting that shit up, that's standing behind it and operating. And, you know, there's more going on than what they're letting on, because I don't care what you say. There's no way that Jimmy Kimmel knows how to set up like a red weapon and like record the footage and get it like over to the editors in a way that they can actually get that shit all put together and out that night. Like there's people, they just don't want you seeing it, because then you'd be like, oh, you guys are a bunch of fucking hypocrites. But I've been watching Last Week Tonight is the one that I've been enjoying, because with John Oliver, because John Oliver, he's used to working in front of a live studio audience, but he also comes from a background of just kind of like just talking to the camera. Like he knows how to do it. So, and he knows how to play off it. So I've been really enjoying the Last Week Tonight, because it's normally this big production with laughter and punch-in cameras and nice backdrops, and he just sits against a plain white wall on purpose. And literally the last 2 episodes have been dedicated to him finding a picture of 2 rats, fucking basically an illustration from this artist of 2 rats having sex that he found in an online auction site. And he's trying to find this image so that he can hang it on the white wall behind him for the rest of the episodes. And I was like, okay, Last Week Tonight gets a pass on this. Hey, NFG Nader, thank you so much for that $2 tip. We appreciate it. Miss Liz, thank you for the $10, the 10 Canadian dollars. To my friends, she says. I love Miss Liz. She's my patron. She's my moderator.
Oh man,
dude, she's awesome.
And the one who stands at the gates of the toxicity of YouTube. I almost said Twitch chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna rename Miss Liz to Mjolnir. Miss Liz, you're Miss Mjolnir from now on. Cause swing that hammer. Scott, thank you for the $4.99. He said, just check out IPFS sometimes. I think it's cool. Okay, so what do we think of IPFS? I still don't know what IPFS is, and I'm afraid to look it up because nobody will tell me what it is.
Distributed. It says a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol designed to make the web faster, safer, and more open.
Oh. Interplanetary file system. Okay, so there's a Wikipedia page. So far this is okay. So the interplanetary file system, IPFS, is a protocol and peer-to-peer network for storing and sharing data in a distributed file system. IPFS uses content addressing to uniquely identify each file in a global namespace connecting all computing devices. Okay, so it's basically just a distributed file system across a million billion computers using the internet to connect them. That's got to be slow as fuck. IPFS allows users not only receive and host content in similar ways to BitTorrent, as opposed to centrally located servers. IPFS is built around a decentralized system of user operators who hold portions of the overall data. That's exactly what torrent is. So, creating a resilient system of file storage and sharing, any user in the network can save a file by its content address, and other peers in the network can find it. This is basically LimeWire. They just recreated LimeWire. It's like LimeWire and Tor, like, you know, had an orgy, is what it sounds like happened. Well, I can guarantee that's only going to be used for piracy and pornography, so I'm going to go check it out immediately after the show. So, speaking of which, man, our Pornhub premium accounts are running out, dude. They only gave us a free month. They did the whole first hits free thing. They used this whole thing to get us hooked, and now they just want to take it away. And I'm sad.
Game theory.
It is totally game theory.
Got you hooked, man.
Hey, what's up, Krillin64? How you doing, bro? Oh my god. Let's see here. Astronauts going to space finally, right? So it doesn't look like SpaceX is slowing down at all because of this thing.
Yeah, nah. And I mean, they got clean suits and stuff anyway, you know? It's probably fine.
Dude, I've seen those guys welding those ships together out in the yards, man. They look like a bunch of like dock workers, like longshoremen are like building the space shuttles. No wonder they keep blowing up on the test pad. No, but it is funny. Actually, one of them wasn't on purpose, man. The last one where it imploded, they did not want that to happen. That was actually an unforeseen circumstance. It was weird though. Like, did you see that one where it just imploded on the platform? No, it didn't blow up. It literally just crunched in like a can. It was like funk and just like sucked. And it's because they filled up. They were supposed to fill up like the methane tank or something, and the oxygen tank in a certain order because, you know, it thermally shocks the housing, the structure around it. And I guess one of the tanks leaked, and it literally froze the air that was inside of the tank, which was creating a vacuum because it was all sealed, right? So it created a vacuum until the thing finally just went clunk and just like collapsed inward on itself. It literally looked like you crushing a tin can. It was the craziest thing ever. But apparently they learned from it and they know what the mistake is and they can fix it now. But it was meant to be a stress test, but not to the failure point. And certainly they were expecting an explosion, not an implosion. So that was a surprise to them. But apparently SpaceX is moving forward. What's the date for the human launch?
May 27.
So May 27th, mark the date. That's going to be a historic. This will be, I believe, the first time that not just a private rocket company, but this is the first time anybody other than the United States or Russia has put a human into space. Period.
Yeah. So the first human launch, or how are they putting it? It's the first time that they're putting astronaut. It's the first launch on U.S. soil in nearly 10 years.
Yeah, and
and
keep in mind NASA and Russia using the Soyuz program and the shuttle program. Those were the only two programs that put people into space, and I believe Russia's the only one that's been put people into space for like the last 10 years. Since they retired the shuttle, I believe the only way you got up to the International Space Station or into low Earth orbit as a human being was to launch from the Cosmodrome or whatever in Kazakhstan. And now you're going to have Elon Musk. Are they sending? How many people are they sending up? Did they say?
Let me see here. Let's see. They're going to the ISS, launch Crew Dragon astronauts. Blah, 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 blah. I don't see a mention of how many.
Because, I mean, if I was them, I would just send one person first. I wouldn't like try to send like three just to minimize the loss of life if something does go horribly wrong, which can happen, right? I mean, I hope it doesn't though, because man, that'll set back. We all know what happens when something goes wrong, like Challenger and stuff like that. It sets back a space program like by leaps and bounds, and especially since this will be the first privatized launch of humans into space. If this fails, I mean, it's like literally they probably won't get another attempt to do it for like at least a couple of years. So hopefully it goes smoothly. They're going to be using a platform that's proven though. Keep in mind all the stuff that's been blowing up on the launch pad. That's all Starship shit. They're going to be launching the humans in the heavily tested Crew Dragon, which they've been using now to supply the International Space Station, and ran all the tests on it back and forth and made many revisions to it. And they're going to be launching it on a Falcon 9, which is like the most proven solid rocket platform in history. Like, I think they even outperform NASA right now for launch failures, like number of launches to failure ratio. So I'm pretty sure they'll all be safe. But can you believe that? Like, if they're successful in doing this and they get people up to the International Space Station safely, that will be the new launch vehicle to move people between the International Space Station and Earth, and you'll no longer have to have astronauts up there for like 6 months or a year. You'll be able to ferry them up there. Like they'll probably do a launch like every 2 weeks, or at most, or at least a month, and those will be capable of carrying cargo and people at the same time. So, because the Crew Dragon has a lot of cargo storage underneath the crew. So you could fly people up there and bring them back. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to be like space tourism, but you totally could do space tourism. Like, you could take somebody up there and, if they pay $200 million or whatever like that, you could take somebody up there, let them stay at the International Space Station for a week, like a bed and breakfast, and then bring their ass back. And I'm sure the astronauts, like, people would be like, oh man, that must be really annoying for the astronauts up there. No, those people don't get any new people to talk to. Like, they don't care. They don't care if you fly up like the most fucking annoying, ignorant person that just wants to push buttons and pull on cords. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but they don't care. They just, I think that the International Space Station, they like crave human contact, right? After that period of time. So the fact that they'll be able to go up there and astronauts can come back if they need to, like if they're sick and stuff like that, they can actually be brought back to Earth and treated, even in non-complete emergency situations. I think that's cool. I think that's going to be that's going to be a game changer. And plus, dude, they'll probably expand the International Space Station at that point. Because if you think about it, right, it's a modular space station. You can keep adding modules onto it, but there's no point in adding a bunch of modules if you can't send enough people up to crew it and enough supplies and enough water and everything, right? It becomes so big to a point where it's like, you can't even really maintain it. Well, if you have a delivery system that can operate like literally launching every couple of days, if they have to, right? They have that level of repeatability, then you can start expanding that thing like, infinitely. I think that would be really cool. You start having this International Space Station that has, instead of 6 people on board, it has 100 people on board, and we have all the capabilities of supplying it for the same cost that we were supplying it with the old system. We can now oversupply it with the new system. With the Super Heavy, you can carry up entire modules just like the space shuttle did. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
It's the beginning of a Dyson ring around the planet.
Exactly. Like we put a Dyson ring around our sun, and then just have it like beam the energy here with microwaves. Yeah. And then we have LED lighting in the sky that's more efficient than the sun, because we have to replace the sun because we blocked it with the Dyson sphere.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel very confident. It's. I mean, they're saying that they've done one like there was like a first test in 2019 of this pod thing. It made it to the space station and back uncrewed. I feel like that can't have been the only test.
No, they've sent several of the Crew Dragons to the space station with cargo.
Like they must have.
They have. That's how they've been resupplying them.
I'm not finding. I think that's like a different little cargo pod, right?
Yep. Somebody actually pointed out that China actually has put people into space, and I think I do remember China doing a manned flight. But that wasn't to the International Space Station. That was just into Earth orbit, I believe, and then back. Which is still like, I mean, that's still a huge achievement, right? But they're not sending. I don't think they're sending up regular people, because right now I believe that the current Soyuz program, it costs what is it, $200 million per astronaut to put them into space. Damn. Like a seat on the Soyuz capsule is like $200 million or something like that. Yeah, and that's what America pays.
Somebody, Dave S here has been poking about the Crew Dragon and Cargo Dragon, blah blah blah. The Crew Dragon is developed from the Cargo Dragon. It is correct. It is a similar pod. So I mean, and what's really what's the difference between cargo and humans, except that you need to like account for like the G-force and stuff. You can put cargo through a lot more rough terrain than a person, but like, as long as it's airtight and radiated, you're not going to get radiated and shit, I think you're fine. Like,
and keep in mind, they did say they were going to reuse the Crew Dragon as a Cargo Dragon. So the Crew Dragon, they can only use them once because they're not going to trust them after refitment. But they are going to use them for cargo. So, and there are differences, sure, but the Cargo Dragon is in one of its iterations is going to be a Crew Dragon with the compartment underneath it. Just like AuxxZillary said.
Very confident. I feel confident. But people were saying my audio is muffled. I'm talking right at my mic. Hello?
No, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah?
Well, here, let's see here. Crew Dragon versus Cargo Dragon. Yeah, because everything I saw is that they were gonna reuse the Crew Dragon as a cargo ship, because they can't use them more than once for human transport.
All right, the last flight of the first version of Dragon spacecraft, Dragon 1, launched 7 March 2020. It was a cargo resupply mission to ISS. Mission was the last mission of SpaceX of the first commercial resupply services program. Future SpaceX commercial resupply flights to ISS under the second commercial resupply services program will use the Dragon 2 version. Dragon 2 is a class of reusable spacecraft developed, blah, 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 this and that. Crew Dragon, a human-rated capsule capable of ferrying up to 7 astronauts, and Cargo Dragon, an updated replacement for the original Dragon spacecraft. Crew Dragon
7 astronauts? Really? Wow.
With an integrated escape system in a set of 4 side-mounted thruster pods with 2 Super Draco engines each, blah, blah, blah. As of March 2020, 4 Dragon 2 spacecraft have been manufactured. A test article named Dragonfly, and 3 flight-worthy vehicles, one of which was destroyed in an engine test. Crew Dragon serves as one of 2 spacecraft that will shuttle crews to and from the ISS under national security, blah, blah, blah. They're used in flights by American Space Tourism Space Adventures and to shuttle tourists to and from Axiom Space's planned space station. Cool. Crew Dragon's first non-piloted test flight occurred in March 2019. First crewed flight is planned in May 2020. Cargo Dragon will supply blah 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 blah. So it's an updated version of the one that they've been using to send cargo.
Yeah, here's and here's the thing. So I can correct people in chat based on SpaceX's own website. The Dragon program, they are fitted differently. The Crew Dragon versus the Cargo Dragon, but they're the same basic aircraft. They even say right on their website, they said Dragon, referring to the program that includes Crew Dragon and Cargo Dragon, is a free-flying spacecraft designed to deliver both cargo and people to orbiting destinations. It's the only spacecraft currently flying that is capable of returning significant amounts of cargo to Earth. Currently, Dragon carries cargo to space, but it was designed from the beginning to carry humans. The first demonstrated flight under NASA's Commercial Crew Program launched on March 2nd, 2019 at 2:49 a.m. The Dragon spacecraft successfully docked with the space station ahead of schedule, becoming the first American spacecraft in history to autonomously dock with the International Space Station. And looking at it, the Crew Dragon and the Cargo Dragon both have the same dimensions and the same outer dimensions and the same perimeters. They are slightly fitted differently, but no, they're the same program, the same build process and everything to create them. So there you go. If you look at SpaceX's website, just go to spacex.com/dragon, And you can see that the Dragon program is not two separate programs to create two separate spacecraft. It's literally a single spacecraft that's refitted depending on whether they're carrying humans or cargo or both. So that's the three configurations. Dude, you wouldn't create two spacecraft. You wouldn't create two completely separate spacecraft. No, that would be really cost ineffective. Yeah, that's super inefficient.
I've long since had faith in private spaceflight for sure. It's like there's going to be the Walmart station, and like Pepsi's going to sponsor a fucking spaceflight and stuff. Like it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad to see that it is like taken off. And I hope more people get into it. I hope SpaceX doesn't dominate and like completely monopolize private spaceflight. Like I hope Virgin gets into it.
Man, everybody's like so freaking hardcore in chat about their different aircraft, dude. Dragon 1, yes, Dragon 1 and Dragon 2 are different because Dragon 2 is the next iteration in the project. You can't. That's the thing, is they're looking at the same project, but the evolution of the project, the Dragon project, is singular.
It's okay.
It's not Crew Dragon. It's not Cargo Dragon. It's just Dragon. Okay. You have two spacecraft, but the goal is to actually take the spacecraft that takes the humans and convert it into the cargo craft for reuse. That's the whole point of this entire experiment. There's no point in just building the cargo capsule. You build the Crew Dragon and then you convert it to the cargo capsule. Because
it's a variant. There are two variants, crew and cargo. It's like A and B. But they're based off the same. Yeah.
Elon would not create two different spacecraft. They're the same dimensions. They're the same Draco thrusters. They're the same everything. It's just they're refitted. Like, so basically, what they do is they put a life support system in it. They put the humans in it. They put the things. They fly it up, and then when they get it back, they rip all that shit out and just chuck it full of cargo, and then send it back up as many more times as they can before it doesn't work anymore.
It's what's super cool. I don't know, to me it's kind of cute that it's like they took the old school capsule, like, from fucking Apollo 13 and just kind of like
revised
it. It's like, it's a lot more curvy and it's more futurized.
Dude, the interior is awesome, man.
The same idea.
The interior is awesome. That's I actually
the station wagon.
The NASA astronauts should be jealous of the first people that get to go up on Elon's spaceship, because it looks like a real spaceship, like sci-fi. You look inside of it, and it's like 2001: A Space Odyssey, like carbon fiber. All the wires are hidden. You got these nice big wraparound screens. The chair looks all futuristic. Like he actually, the trim and shit on it actually mattered. It's like you look at the Apollo capsules. It's all business, right? No party, all business. Like wiring looms and shit going across your lap and stuff because it saves 3 ounces. I love the fact that Elon was like, if we're going to space, we're going to space in style. Like, if you were sitting in that seat and flying in my spacecraft, you're going to feel like you're in the fucking Enterprise. And I think that is really, really cool. And they're going to be flying with their spacesuit, right? They're using their flight suit on that launch, did they say?
I don't know.
I'd imagine they'd have to, because I don't think the astronauts would fit in those damn seats with the current flight suit from Russia.
Like, it's meant to be used with the newer spacesuits, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, dude, the new spacesuits look tits, man. Like, they're not designed for EVA. Like, I thought at first that you could do EVA in them, and they're like, no. These do not offer adequate protection against direct exposure to the sun. But they will protect you against, what do they call it, a rapid decompression event, and the cold. Like, you can survive the cold of space for a little period of time, but not enough to do an EVA. They're designed basically just to survive rapid decompression and a quick abort back to Earth, basically.
We're somebody in chat saying yes to the new SpaceX suits.
Yeah, I was kind of sad when I heard that, because when I saw the new SpaceX suits, I was like, oh man, are these like the suits they're going to be running around on Mars and shit in? And it's like, not quite. The variant that they're going to be using for Mars are going to be way more bulky. Like,
it's like more of a flight suit, not the just big chunky ones. Like you were saying, not for EVA or anything.
This is just flight suits. That's it. And I was like, damn it, because I was comparing them to like the old NASA flight suits where, they had the life support pack on the back and everything. I was like, oh dude, they slimmed that shit down. They didn't.
Even NASA's new spacesuit is way cooler. Like they have like a
I saw it, they demoed it a couple of months ago.
Yeah, is even really nice. For the Artemis program.
Yeah, and they like redid the joints in it so you can actually move.
Yeah, it's still pretty chunky, but it's like, it reminds me a lot of the new Lost in Space.
Yeah, the dome is cool on it.
They did a good job.
You know what I wish they'd bring back though that I always thought was the coolest spacesuits. And I understand why they stopped doing it. Remember the old Bell spacesuits from the Apollo missions where it was all glass? It was basically just a fishbowl.
No.
You don't remember that? Like, yeah, look up the old. I think it's the Apollo missions. They used they instead of having a visor built into like a lighter weight carbon ceramic helmet or whatever it was. It was just a bowl. It was just a giant glass, like vacuum formed glass bowl, like you'd use for a vacuum chamber, and you put that over your head. So your head, you could look left, you could look right, and it was just a giant fishbowl you were looking at. You could see the people's hair and everything. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah, they were awesome, but they don't use them anymore, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because just the fragility of having that much glass around your head, like from micrometeorites and stuff like that. But
what a trip!
They're so cool. They're so cool. They're
I'm seeing a picture here.
Did you find it?
I think so. Yeah. This guy here. Let me see if this works. I think this is this.
Let me see. Is it
that's ugly? Never mind.
No, it's not Apollo 11. Here, let me see if I can find.
There's a shot of Jim Lovell with like it's just a clear dome.
Yeah, it's just a clear dome. That's it. And they only used them for a very short period of time. And I'd imagine just because, having a huge glass helmet like that, like probably isn't the safest. So
on something and
what's it called here? I'm trying to get the name of the suit. I found a picture of it.
No, that's a guy. That's the name of the guy.
No, that's not it.
Here, is this it?
I just thought that they were the cool out of all the spacesuits. I always thought that was the coolest one because it kind of reminded you of like sci-fi. It's like the sci-fi guys. They always have the fishbowl on their head, right?
Right. Yeah, the old school kind of thing. Yeah. Is that it?
Here, did you put a link? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me take a look here. Loading.
Yep,
that's the one. The Apollo 14 Rusa suit.
Rusa is the guy in the suit.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What did they say? What the name of the suit is? Like,
just a spacesuit check prior to launch.
Because I can't imagine. You know what I think that probably is? That's probably more of a flight suit than like an EVA suit. Because like, how do you shield yourself from the sun when you have a giant freaking fishbowl?
Yeah, it's got to be.
So I don't think that's the suit that they would actually go out inside with. But man, they were cool.
Yeah, because you see those shots of them out on the surface, and it's like mirrored. And it's
Sinformant said the Apollo suits still have a clear glass dome. They just have a white and black cap to protect their heads over the top of it. And that would kind of make sense because you don't want any kind of seam where a seal can be broken, right? So it would make sense to have one continuous bowl and then just put something over it to protect it from like micrometeorites and block the sun and all that stuff.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. I always liked just the exposed glass though. I thought that was really cool. But I'm sure the astronauts were like, "Oh my god, my head's on fire!" Like when they poke their head outside, like, "Ow, it hurts!" Like a magnifying glass. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh shit, we can put a shield over that and fix it."
Man, space stuff is just so the coolest. It's like medical and space science are the coolest shit.
Yeah. Hey, Acid Burns, thank you for that $5 super chat, man. He said, "Hey guys, will handshakes be a thing of the past? Will sporting events be held behind closed doors? Will social distancing be here to stay?"
No.
I don't think social distancing works in the real world very well. Like it just, especially if you're in highly built up areas and stuff like Manhattan and Los Angeles and Vegas, like social distancing just doesn't work in those atmospheres. That being said, I think handshakes will probably be used less just because we're going to end up building up a habit of just not grabbing people's hands. And who knows, it may come back, right? There's always resurgences, but I think we're going to be a little bit more conscious in our head. And everybody's going to become a little bit more of a germaphobe. I think is what's going to happen because everybody's starting to realize that, wait a second, before this, I just got the flu occasionally. Before this, I just got a little bit of a cough. And now it's like we know that there's the potential always for like these things floating around that can just like knock us on our ass and like cripple the entire planet. And we also know that our government, is incapable of responding to stuff to this quick enough, even when they know it's coming. So I personally think I'm going to be a little bit more of a germaphobe because I was the kind of guy that would go to conventions and just like pick up 3D printed teeth off a table and stick them in my mouth and be like, take a picture. I had no like consciousness of germs around me and stuff. And now I even find today, like I go to the grocery store and it's like a whole different experience. My mentality going into the store, being around people, I'm hyper conscious to everything. I don't touch my face. I pretend like my hands are lava. And it's like, that shit I never did before. And I think that's going to stick with me after this. At least that's what I'm thinking.
I think people are going to be more conscious about like wearing masks if they're sick. I think there's going to be better. I hope, fingers crossed, that there'll be better like protections for people in like food service and such who better I guess safety nets like sick leave and whatnot. I hope gets to be mandated a lot more strictly. I think I think people are going to be a lot more conscious about or some people rather. I get the feeling it's not going to be as widespread as we'd like.
I like Dingo on my 40 said we'll near touch hands like in Demolition Man, the whole be well. Like nobody ever physically touches.
Right.
To have sex, we have to put on VR helmets. Oh, we're already heading in that direction. So,
I definitely think like fist bumps and stuff. You're gonna see maybe less hugging at conventions and stuff.
You're gonna see a lot more people, like you said, wearing masks. You're gonna see a lot more masks.
For sure.
Like when this is over, it's gonna be like if you've ever seen if you've ever been to Japan, you'll notice that a lot of people wear masks because of the cherry blossoms and the allergies. And so, but masks are really common to see over there. In the United States, they're not really. If you see somebody wearing a mask, you just make the assumption they're sick. Like that's and that's not true in a lot of other cultures. So I think you're going to see here in the United States that we're just going to become accustomed to seeing a lot of people wear masks, especially public workers. I think people like bus drivers and people working in public arenas and stuff, I think that their job is going to start requiring them to wear more protective gear. Go ahead.
I'll bet you see it mostly on the coasts, though, especially West Coast. Because like there is a serious difference in there are distinct cultures within the United States. There are distinct, like, there's a reason.
Stop being racist. Stop being racist.
No,
bro.
I'm not. I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it in just an honest to goodness like cultural difference. Just mentality is different. There is a reason that like West Coast tends to be. And I don't mean to go down a weird political road here, but there is a difference. You'll higher population cities and stuff tend to react and move in a societal way differently than say the Midwest.
Definitely.
And there's like you see it. I hesitate to use words like progressive or liberal or conservative. Because honestly, I don't really have a good grasp of like what that really means, and I feel like most of the people who throw those words around
they don't know what it means either, dude.
It's like I don't know, or there's just a weird difference in context when you start using those words in a political arena, like, and so. But yeah, I think you'll see it. You'll see masks and stuff being used in Seattle, in California, in Washington, Oregon, California, for sure. Any of those sort of and again on the other coast, the East Coast, where people are very tightly packed. New York, Jersey, some of that kind of a stuff.
So what you're saying is in Alabama and Kentucky, it's going to be like no masks. Everybody's still going to be having orgies on the weekend.
I mean, I hate to generalize like that and to be like stereotypical.
I was raised a redneck, so I'm allowed to say those things. That's my people.
Because there's always the exception. But just in broad strokes, in general terms, yeah, I think you're going to see a distinction just as you do with anything else, heck, it was just it was last week or something that there was news headlines saying that the Midwest now is being hit by spikes of this virus being spread around and stuff. They haven't been distancing and stuff like the more densely populated areas have been. So
that's the part that gets me really frustrated though, is the places where they're like, oh, we're not seeing the virus here, so we don't have to protect ourselves. And then the virus just like takes off and catches fire, and they're like, oh, but it wasn't here a week ago, so that doesn't count. Or 2 weeks ago, oh, we didn't know to isolate because it wasn't really here. It's like, dude, but you knew it was coming. Like the same pattern happened everywhere else. You're just ignoring it because it's taking a little while longer to catch fire in your area because it's more of a rural area. But it will catch fire if you keep, not paying attention.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me, dude. Like it's like the whole, you know what it is? It's just the anti-vaxxer argument updated to a new topic. It's all like, well, the virus doesn't exist anymore, so why do I need to get vaccinated? Where it's like, dude, the reason you want the vaccine is because that's why the virus isn't here anymore. It goes away, and then measles makes a resurgence, and they're like, well, we didn't know measles was going to come back. Well, yes, you did if you understood it, if you took the time to like realize that how a vaccination works. Oh, I didn't know it worked that way. It's like, oh my God. Ugh. Technology saves stupid people. It really does. And we have to deal with the after effects of that.
Yeah.
That's why herd immunity is, we're going to eventually have a vaccine for this thing, just like we had vaccine for other things. It's a virus. We'll come up with a vaccine. Then once we get enough people to take the vaccine, we'll have herd immunity. But my fear is you're going to have this huge anti-vaxxer movement, led by Jenny McCarthy on a giant unicorn with fiery horns. And you're going to have a bunch of people in pockets that will refuse to get this vaccination when it comes out, thinking that it's some kind of government mind control device, or that the vaccine was developed to get everybody to take this vaccine so that they had a method or a vehicle to like implant us with some kind of radio transmitters or some shit. And then those people aren't going to get treated, and then they're going to break herd immunity and fuck us over. I know we're already carrying it, guys. You don't need anything implanted in you.
You don't need to inject you with anything. You carry that shit around like
they got you to pay for it. They got you to pay for the beacon. They carry around and track your ass. This thing listens to every word you say. Oh my God.
Get me started.
My God. Hey, Sinformant, thank you for the $5 tip, man. He said, you should look up the 20 and Back program, whether it's real or not is interesting. Read and listen to people's accounts. What is the 20 and Back program?
Sounds interesting.
I'm gonna bite on this one and see what happens. It can't be any worse than Film Your Hospital.
Is an offer normally made to, but they also need civilians to act as specialists?
Oh shit! I saw the word secret space program and I just checked out instantly. Dude, is this? Dude, it's hosted on the Flat Earth website. Come on.
This is cool. Okay, so the Navy made a deal with the Nordics.
Let's hear this.
So that they could covertly recruit more personnel into their secret space program. So, just in that first sentence, we know that the Navy has a secret space program, and they've been working with the Nordics. I'm not sure what that refers to, but what, like Norway and like
basically Thor.
Viking countries, right?
Have you seen the movie Thor? Yeah, basically the same premise. Okay. So there are special.
They were given
program.
new technology in order to accomplish this. As a compromise, the Navy could only enlist personnel for up to 20 years at a time. Using this Nordic technology, they would then go through a pharmaceutical age regression, have their mind blank slated, and be portaled back to their point of origin a few minutes after they were abducted.
Wow. So
similar programs exist or have existed on third density planets throughout the local cluster.
This is Scientology all over again.
Hold on here. What is this? Is this like a lore thing for
It's gotta be.
So I found this on Disclosure Wikia, is an aggregate information from various ufologists, contactees, MyLabs, and experiencers. Interesting.
You know what I would like to state first off is there's no such thing as a secret anymore. Secrets don't exist. They don't. When we live in the age of the internet, everything gets leaked. Absolutely everything gets leaked. If there's anything that's even remotely controversial, it gets leaked onto the internet. Eventually. So I don't think that there'd be like a secret space program of people like teleporting around and shit that like because you'd have to have a lot of people involved in a program like that to make it work, even if the technology was there. And the odds that you could keep all those people completely suppressed and quiet, like Area 51, everybody's like, oh man, there's aliens at Area 51. Dude, do you really think that they can keep a handle on that, a facility that has thousands of people working at it and actually leaving it and going to it every day? You think like none of those people have ever been like kidnapped, coerced, or said something under an anonymous account or created an alt through a VPN or something like that and started like rattling off about that shit on it would happen. It would absolutely happen. So the way that you can tell if something's real or not is if there's absolutely no supporting evidence for it whatsoever and nobody's ever spoke of it other in the context of like a third person with no evidence, chances are it's probably not right.
Especially space stuff. There's enough amateur astronomers and stuff out there that they couldn't possibly secretly launch a rocket into space.
No.
They're like, here's an example. Just recently, I saw on Instagram, somebody was taking video of the moon. It was kind of it was like daytime moon look,
Yep.
right? You know, you can see the moon during the day. And they zoomed in real close. And it's like, oh, cool craters and stuff. It's like the edge of the moon. And you see these two, like, after, a couple seconds into it, you see these two things come around the edge of the moon. And it looks super legit. Like, oh, holy shit, what is this? Well, it turns out that it's the Chinese program. They accidentally caught footage of the Chinese program that's mapping the moon.
Yep.
And out of context, you'd think, oh my gosh, some kind of secret thing. But like, you match it up with the data of like the publicly available data of space programs that are happening.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, I'm certain people have seen the space station go by.
Oh, I have. I've seen the space station.
And it's like, it's crazy. It's just, yeah, it's just weird.
And plus, you have so many people watching the sky, like so many private organizations that have telescopes, radio telescopes, optical telescopes, and we can't see a huge part of the sky off in a distance. Like the further out you get, the less coverage you have, really. But in close to the planet, it's like we can track, what is it, like 25,000 or 30,000 objects or something that are like in orbit, moving around the Earth.
Yeah.
It's like we would know. Like you would know. Like we literally know if like Kim Jong farts, we know about it, like immediately. And Sinformate, just to be clear here, he did give us another $2 to say he never said it was true. It was just an interesting read.
Yeah,
I will say it's interesting from a
I
fictional perspective.
Yeah, I love this kind of crazy stuff like this. It blows my mind. I love time travel and age regression. Like, come on. Love it.
And that's the other thing too, is like when you start thinking about stuff logically, it's like, okay, so they have the technology to do age regression, so they're only going to use it for their secret space program to send people and like teleport them around. No, they would use it everywhere. Like all of our lifetime appointed judges and shit would be living for like 1,000 years. like Ruth Bader Ginsburg would be like running and jumping over like fucking like pole vaulting and stuff and throwing a discus.
What's crazy is like you wouldn't need to. Like, there's a lot of suggestion here that some people are being kidnapped or forced into like space slavery. There is enough people who would willingly join a program like this.
Yeah.
If we had the ability to, dude, they already have people signing up for a one-way trip to Mars.
Dude, I think it was like 200,000 people or something like that signed up for it.
You're going to go colonize Mars, and you're probably going to die there.
Yeah.
People are jumping at it. And if you had approached me 5-6 years ago, I'd have done the same thing. Like, I'm down. I will live forever as one of the first people to go to Mars. Doesn't matter if I go die, if I got to be a farmer or whatever. Like, if we wanted to do a generation ship and send people off to fucking Alpha Centauri, it's going to take 150 years or whatever. People would jump at the chance.
Dude, do you know how many incels would sign up for that, to be trapped in a spacecraft with like an equal number of female astronauts? Like that improved their chances astronomically.
Folk. It's just super cool, man. I don't know. It's just crazy.
I mean, if I didn't have a family, I'd sign up for that shit. I'd be like, yeah, I'll go to Mars. I ain't got nothing going on. Hey, Samuel Passman, thank you for the $5 tip. He said, Jerry, hope all is well. All is well as can be expected at this time. Graham from Volair Media, thank you for the $10 tip. He said, if you ever want a 5G expert on the show, just give me a call. We will absolutely take you up on that sometime, Graham. This whole burning down 5G towers, though, because it's transmitting the Rona, that's like, honestly, for the first time in my life, I'm going to admit something that I'm embarrassed to admit that I never thought I could admit, and that is flat earthers are more intelligent than those people. Like, literally flat earthers, who I consider, like, so stupid that I'm surprised they remember to breathe. Like, flat earthers are literally like that. I used to use flat earthers as my absolute bottom of what humanity is capable of. But I'm going to say, after hearing about the 5G towers transmitting the Rona, I'm going to say that those people are actually even less educated than the flat earthers and actually make the flat earthers look somewhat intelligent. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's a whole new low. And if you guys don't know the story, I'm surprised you don't, because it's been trending for like weeks now, is there's people that there were, okay, so as all things started, it started as a joke. It started as a meme, and then a couple, stupid people that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground decided to start perpetuating it as truth, and people started buying into it. First of all, 5G is something that you're exposed to every single day and have been exposed to for like your entire life since the day you were born. Every single frequency range has background radiation and background emission on it. You've been hit by it all. The low transmission power of the 5G towers, it is not even in the realm of anything that could negatively affect you in any way. This has already been heavily tested. This is something that's been tested since the first radio transmissions. I mean, it's absolutely safe. It's absolutely safe. It's non-ionizing radiation, and it's radio waves. It's not. We're not talking about gamma radiation. We're not talking about something that comes in and actually penetrates through your body and destroys your cells. We're talking about something that is incredibly passive to biological matter. So, if you guys think that 5G is creating the coronavirus, well, then what the hell? Like, please go educate yourself for 3 seconds on what a virus is and how it works. Viruses aren't all that dissimilar from the organisms that we already have living inside of our body. You probably have 1,000 viruses inside of you that are completely inert and don't do anything at any given time. You have lots of bacteria inside of your body that's actually beneficial to how your body functions, and you've evolved to work with that bacteria. You have lots of life forms living inside of you. You're like your own little microcosm and planet. And I can tell you right now, your cell phone is not giving you testicle cancer. These things have such a low broadcast power compared to even the phones from like your cordless phone in your house is putting out more juice than this damn thing is. And I don't get where people get this information from. I really don't. Even microwaves. Like, did you know that your microwave, people are like, oh man, you're going to get cancer from standing in front of your microwave. No. You know what you're going to do is if your microwave's leaking and the Faraday cage fails, or you're stupid enough to take the door off your microwave and rig it to run, you're going to feel some burn is what you're going to feel. You're going to feel a burning sensation because you are literally wiggling
water molecules.
Exactly. You are literally vibrating the fuck out of the 80% of the water in your body is now dancing and creating massive friction and building up heat. And you know what you're going to do when you feel that? You're going to move the fuck out of the way. And it's not instant. It's not instantly destructive. That's the other thing. I even watched a YouTube video where a guy fired up a fucking microwave and he had to stand in front of it for 30 seconds before he even felt a tingle. And he was like, and it's one of those things where it's like, but you know, growing up, we were all taught like, oh, the microwave can give you cancer, man. Don't stand too close to the microwave. Oh, don't rig the door open.
Dude, it's not the 50s.
My God, people. My God. Come on. You know, another thing too is I feel like a lot of the ignorance today stems from people only focusing on basically the news outlets and shit, like these what would you call them, tabloids, like the internet equivalent of tabloids. They're looking to them thinking that because they're reporting something that nobody else is reporting, somehow it's the super secret conspiracy thing and they must be right because they're the only ones reporting it. And it's like, that's the exact opposite way to think about it. Okay, the way you can tell if something is true is if 99.9% of the people are reporting one thing and 0.01% of the people are reporting the other thing. It's just like with climate change, right? If you're unsure about climate change, go look at the collective scientific knowledge around the world. Go look at everybody that's got a PhD in that arena, everybody that's been educated and spent their entire life studying how climate works, and see how many of them agree that climate change is real and see how many of them agree that climate change is not real. It's not like they're both 50% like a lot of people think. No, it's like fucking like 2 or 3% of them. And of those 2 or 3%, 2.5% of them are literally like, we don't know, we're on the fence. So I don't get why people think, oh, the minority is going to be the one that's right. That's not how it works. That's the reason democracy works. You know, it's because you want to get the most education. You want to get the most opinions on somebody. If everybody came to consensus and 90% of the world thought the sky was purple, we would all think the sky is purple. And then you'd have the 2% that think it's blue. You know why that didn't happen? Because the sky isn't purple and most people could see that it was blue. It's like, come on, Jesus. Hey, Sex Spy, he said, Barnacules said, take his wellies off and says, smell the truth. What are wellies? Are those shoes or boots or something?
Wellies?
Like Wellingtons? I don't know. For some reason, I thought of beef Wellington.
Yeah. That's the only context I know of wellies.
I like this.
A lot of Hell's Kitchen.
Aaron Richards said they hear from Karen from the book club, and she's more reliable than the experts, which have done the research. You know, that's one of the things that really chaps my ass nowadays is, and I've been getting really brutal on Twitter lately, like way more than I've ever been. I actually sometimes even feel bad about it because I don't like being that harsh of a person. But the stupidity is getting so off the charts that I just cannot even handle it anymore. Some of these people I've just fucking snapped on. Like, I've completely snapped these people that are like, oh my God, you know, oh, this new coronavirus or whatever is a bioweapon that was released on purpose to cause massive pandemics in the world so that China could, take over the markets. And dude, China already rules the world in manufacturing. China already is like the superpower and everybody's in debt to China. China doesn't need to release a virus and kill like most of their people just to get everybody else sick. Like, If you're going to engineer a virus, you know what you do? You engineer a virus that's controllable and attacks a very specific demographic of the population. You don't create a willy-nilly virus that's just Russian roulette everybody that gets it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That'd be the same as you just launching nuclear weapons and blowing up the entire Earth to win a war. Like, that just... that's why that doesn't happen. Because everybody's like, you know what? It's fun to defeat your enemies, but you know what sucks is killing yourself in the process. That's my rant. That's my rant. I'm sticking to it.
Done.
I just here TLDR. I hate stupid people.
Yeah.
I'm really getting tired of stupid people. And here's the thing. It's okay if you're ignorant of something because you haven't studied it, but don't act like you know something about it when you know nothing about it. That's what drives me nuts, because I get these people on Twitter that are like, oh no, I heard that this thing and the Earth is flat and this is why it's flat. Just show me one credible piece of information that shows flat. Like, give me one scientific There's been so many scientific studies. Just Google it. What? No, there has been no scientific studies. Zero. Because you can't have a scientific study on something that is not true. You can't. It's impossible. That's why science works. That's why science is an amazing thing. Volair said no, North Korea won. Whoa, what did North Korea win on? Dude, you know North Korea's got to be hurting from this shit, because you know they'll never admit weakness. They'll just let their people starve to death and die. You know this has got to be just like wiping them out.
Turns out everybody in North Korea is immune.
You know what it is they're all dying. This is going to sound really terrible, but they're all dying at such a rate from starvation that it's indistinguishable from the virus.
Or because they're so xenophobic and locked down, they don't get it, and everybody's fine.
But here's the thing. They're not as locked down as people think they are. Like, go watch YouTube. Have you seen their tourist industry there?
No.
Dude, they have
a tourist industry?
If you go... Okay, so here's the rules. You can't... Of course, you can't be American. You can't be from, like, half a dozen different countries. But what you can do is go into that country, get a work visa, and then go... The Russians do it all the time. They'll go and travel into North Korea. People from the UK... I think they let... Chinese, if you're a native citizen of China... You can go into North Korea, but basically you have to pay. I think it's a ridiculous amount of money. It's like $3,500 or something just to get the pass from one side to even go into North Korea. And then they check all your shit. They control your cameras. They control your memory cards. They check your phones and everything. But yeah, you can go do tourism in North Korea. There's a ton of YouTube videos on it. It's awesome. Like, you can actually, if you want to see like behind the curtain and see how North Korea works. Oh man, there's thousands and thousands of tourist videos now on YouTube. And a lot of them show footage that they're not supposed to. A lot of them show footage that they snuck out, you know, without getting it checked, like putting memory cards in their socks and shit. And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to see how North Korea operates. I mean, they literally do believe that Kim Jong-un is a god. They believe that, you know, he's this superhuman that controls everything and prosperity, and only the people that, you know, that help him out progress this thing get to live in the city. Everybody else gets sent out in the outskirts to basically farm and starve to death. It's pretty fucking scary. And the weird thing is they have a lot of tourist attractions. They built a water park. They built a ski resort. They have a ski resort. These are things I never thought you'd ever hear of in North Korea. But they have a ski resort. They have a water park. They have an amusement park that's like not a water park. They have all these restaurants, and they're all just for tourists. None of the native people, like, the only time they go there is when they're doing a tourist run. They basically bring in the state-controlled people that have the clearance to basically, you know, go around and keep an eye on you and pretend. And
I'm seeing some of this stuff,
dude. It's cool to watch. It's
controlled tourists.
And you're not allowed to talk to people on the street. Yeah, like if you're a tourist, you're not allowed to. You can only talk to people they allow you. Like, what they'll do is they'll have cherry picked people that they'll bring around to talk to you and stuff, and like tell you about the great. And they all start. You can tell they're cherry picked because they're like, you know, it's like, oh, how do you like living in Korea? Oh, great leader. He's amazing. He makes our life wonderful. He is the best. And it's like, well, that's not really what I asked you. You know, it's like they're not allowed to. And if they try to approach real people to talk to them, they get like really, really nervous and they just walk away because they know they can get in trouble. You know, and like they can get sent to prison, and their family gets sent to prison for talking to tourists. So
yeah, but there's a travel, like, United States.
Yep.
So North Korea banned U.S. citizens July 2017, and then the U.S. or June of 2017.
Yep.
Or around there. And then, travel ban completely. You are not allowed to go to North Korea from the U.S. Wow, what a trip!
Remember the guy from the United States that they sent back in a coma who died like shortly after?
He was
a tourist.
About that.
He was there on a tourist visa, and he tore down a propaganda sign because he wanted to bring it back with him. And they caught him with the propaganda sign when he was leaving the country, and they were basically imprisoning him and put him into a labor camp. And then when they sent him back, they beat the shit out of him and pumped him full of drugs so that he'd die when we got him back because they didn't want him saying anything.
That's crazy.
They're crazy, man. Sin Format, thank you for the $10 super chat. He said my issue with things nowadays is makes the wait. My issue with things is nowadays money makes the world go round. That's always been the case. Let's see here. Go around, and most people have a price where they would compromise their morals and will say whatever their financiers tell them to. Yeah, I mean, I agree that everybody has their price, and the more down and out somebody is, the easier it is to manipulate them with money. Like, if you have somebody who's like multi-super billionaire, like, you know, Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or something like that has more money than they could ever spend in their entire life, it's kind of hard to silence them and get them to follow your narrative. But if you have people that you financially control, oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at our Senate, look at our congressmen, look at the people that are in office. They're all controlled by money. They're all controlled by industry. You know how you can tell? Because they'll have one way of thinking until a business steps in and gives them another way of thinking. It's like normal people don't flip-flop as much as they do. Like, every day, it's like something different. It's like, I think pharmaceutical drugs should be cheaper. And that's like 3 days later after a super PAC comes in from like GlaxoSmithKline and Pfizer. Then they're like, oh, I actually did some more research into this, and we really need expensive drugs. And you guys, you know, it actually makes sense now as they're like counting through their bills. You know, dude, it's so public-facing now. And so this goes back to it's harder to keep a secret, right? It's like you can figure all this shit out. You can go look at the political contributions that each senator and congressman is getting, you know, because they don't wear the NASCAR tags, but you can see who they're sponsored by. And lo and behold, you will be hard pressed to find one that has a political contribution from a company that they don't support. They all do. They all support the companies that they take political contributions from. Doesn't matter who they are. That's the flip-flop. So you never actually get what's right for the people. All you do is you end up electing somebody you think is going to represent you, but then what they do is they just become an apologist for the companies and try to convince you that what the companies is doing is right. So instead of them enforcing what you want them to enforce, they end up actually turning on you and trying to convince you of why it's okay for those companies and stuff to screw you and to take your wealth and to take your money. It sucks, man. It fucking sucks. And I see it every day, and it drives me absolutely nuts. Shikadance, thank you for that $10 tip. Preach it, number one fan. We love you too, man. Money talks. Thank you. Money talks. Like right now. That's right. Like okay, let's be real here, AuxxZillary. If I gave you $500 million, okay? That's not an insignificant amount of money. You could live the rest of your life doing everything you want every single day for $500 million. If I gave you $500 million and the only thing you have to do is always defend that the earth is flat. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't kill anybody. All you have to do is just every single time there's an argument, every time there's a conversation, you have to say that the earth is flat, and you have to back that up with no matter what bullshit you have to say. It doesn't matter if everybody can see right through you. It's just total bullshit, but you get $500 million for it. Everybody will judge you for it, but you're still going to be the guy with $500 million, like driving around, flying your spaceships around. You can buy whatever you want. Would you do it?
Probably.
I would too.
Honestly, because
I wouldn't. I hate flat earthers. Fucking hate them.
Because the opinions of other people, like I know that my circle, like the circles closest to me, would know that it was just for the money.
Exactly.
And I feel like I could do a lot more good with that than the bad of spreading that false information, that particular kind of false information.
Exactly.
There are some things I think that I could not ever defend, but like, yeah, I'd be the number one fucking flat earth guy. Heck yeah, I'd be the guy. Like, I would do all the crazy conspiracy stuff that they say that proves the earth is not round.
Right.
Prove that the earth is flat. Like I'd go up in an airplane and like green screen out the window and say, see, look, it's flat as a fucking board, man. Yeah. I'll take the I've seen them take like the bubble level, right? And like, see, if it was up in the airplane and say like, see, if the earth was round, it wouldn't be flat. You know, okay. Like
so let's use that as our starting point.
100%.
So that's the starting point. Give you $500 million, and for the rest of your life, you say that you're going to be a flat Earth, enthusiast, and you're going to spread the word of flat Earth and everything. You're going to convince people, and it's like that. That's it, right? Okay. So now what we do is we start that as our baseline, and then we start move the other direction and see how far you can go before you compromise it. And then it's like, okay, what if somebody paid you $100 million to convince people that gas should be 15 cents more per gallon, that it helps with state funding and tax dollars and all this, when you know at your core that it's just the fuel industry trying to make more money so that they can use that money to perpetuate fuel and suppress energy. But you have to ignore all that for $100 million. Would you be like, you know what, I'm going to justify gas being 15 more cents a gallon because that seems like an insignificant amount of money. Over time, it only equates out to a couple of dollars a year or whatever for somebody who drives a little bit. Like, But you could convince yourself. Let's say you could convince yourself of that. Now it's $100 million. Now the decision gets a little bit harder, but still, at the end of the day, you're like, okay, it costs everybody 15 cents more a month. That's not super, that 15 cents isn't really that much money. And you could potentially talk yourself into it and be like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and spread this message, even though I don't really believe in it, because one, it gives me $100 million, so I never have to worry about my family or anything for the rest of my life. I can use that $100 million to literally give money back to people that can't afford to pay the extra 15 cents. Like, you can kind of talk yourself into it. Like,
sure.
So, and then you keep getting it down and down. Then you start getting to the politicians, and you're like, listen, I will give you, politician, $1 million, just $1 million. But I'm also going to use the full power of my company and everybody else I gave $1 million to endorse you to make sure you win the next election, which means you get to keep your job and make way more than $1 million.
Yeah.
Then you start getting into that realm of they start justifying it like, listen, okay, if I tell the truth, I lose my job because they're going to, the political contributors are going to push somebody else, give them more campaign dollars, put them in front of the camera more, leverage their audience, and I'm potentially going to lose my job. And I'm not going to get $1 million. And you start weighing those together, and then even like the most true people in the world start becoming corruptible. And it's sad to watch. It's sad to watch, but it is true. I mean, everybody has their, and of course there's always the thing where it's like, if I paid you $1 billion to go wipe out an entire like race of people, like you obviously wouldn't do it because I know that you couldn't live with that.
It's like in small bites though, right? Like you compromise in a little way, and in sometimes I imagine in ways that like you don't really realize the consequences. Like that 15 cents on the gas, right? Well, now that the oil company's making billions more dollars a year off of that 15 cents, they're also going to cut corners on safety, and now you have the Deepwater Horizon kind of thing. And what kind of effect does that have on the environment and the future repercussions of like, oh, that initial choice isn't so bad, but like, holy crap, it's funny you bring this up. Like recently I was playing Star Trek Online, and you're playing this mission where they give you like these moral choices, like, do you let the bad guy go? And if he goes, if you let him escape, he's going to like lead this revolution and millions are going to die. But if you kill him now, or should you kill him now, right? Yeah. Well, it turns out if you kill him now, he becomes a martyr for the resistance, and even more people die. Because it fuels the whatever the terrorists. Yeah,
it's the what is it, less of two evils argument, where there's not a good choice, there's just the less of two evils.
You can't ever like look that far ahead, and in some ways you can't. Like, you can only be responsible for the consequences of your actions for so far. You know what I mean? You can't infinitely be like, the kid that I made fun of in 3rd grade goes on to be a serial killer. Is that my fault because I picked on him? Or, how far are you responsible for the consequences of your choices,
Yep, that's one of the thought experiments that I used to do, and I stopped doing it because it was so fucking dark, is how many people have you killed in your lifetime without even knowing it?
Yeah.
Everybody, think about it for a second. Like, you're driving down the road, right? Like, just as a thought experiment. You're driving down the road, right? And your car leaks a couple of drops of oil, but you're unaware of it. And then a person behind you 3 hours later drives through that spot going a little too fast. They hit the oil droplets. They lose just enough friction. They go flying off the road, crash into another car, and they die. And then you watch on the news, like a couple hours later, it's like somebody driving down this road died and killed 2 kids or whatever, but they don't know how they died. They don't know that it was because of oil on the tire or whatever. But you would have a correlation between you not fixing the oil leak on your fucking car and somebody else actually dying, but you'd never know it. And because you never know it, you never feel any responsibility or any remorse towards it. So you still continue to not fix the oil leak. It's like one of those weird things where it's like the butterfly effect. You don't know. I mean, you literally could have farted in your house and gave birth to some bacteria that floated out your window or something. It got stuck on something that some kid carried to some other place, and then it got to some 80-year-old grandma or whatever and gave her a respiratory infection and killed her dead. And there'd be no way to make that connection that it was you that went outside or whatever and farted carelessly onto something that some kid picked up and went and played with. It's like, these are terrible, terrible like examples. But my point being is, how many people, like, if you could look at the universe and how you affect it, even like the air you move through, you changing little things like your house, the house that you live in. It's like by you buying that house or whatever, maybe somebody else needed to buy that house, and because they couldn't buy that house, they freaked the fuck out or whatever, and then killed their family and killed themselves because they thought, oh my God, I was going to buy that house and my life was going to be perfect, and that house got bought out front. It was the one thing, the linchpin that sent them over the edge, and you never know about it. Because, it's like there's so many little things. Like, and I guess the one that I really want to point out, and this is the one that people should take a lot more seriously, is there's that person, and I'm guilty of it too. And I hope I never know this number if it exists, because it would freak me the fuck out being a person on YouTube. Is how many people have made a video talking about a heavy subject, which I do all the time, that led to the suicide of somebody. You would never know it. Yeah. You would never ever know it unless they like named you in a suicide note, and even then you might not even know it, because who reads the suicide note or even knows who they're talking about, right? Yeah. So how do you know? But it's like, if you think about that, it fucking would completely scare you away, and you'd be afraid to venture out into the world and do anything. So you have to realize that people have personal accountability and they're accountable for their own actions. But at the same time, right? Yeah, you can. That's why I like kind of keeping in my mind these the concept of like circles of influence, right? Yep. Shoot, who that is? Oh, what's up, broski? It nice in here. It smells nice in here. Man, is that your fucking brother again? Yeah. You need to tell him he needs to stop interrupting this professional broadcast that we're doing here. Hey, it's because of this professional broadcast that my brother now is a fucking businessman. Wow, I want to hear about this. What? Insurance comes next. So he's not a drug dealer anymore? What's he doing now? Anymore. Well, I mean, I didn't say that. No. After working with Adam, our good buddy Adam, he's got his free thing going now. I helped make him a website. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Man, Adam is like the entrepreneur maker, man. So scope me out. Eric's brother's epic mealtime. Dude, he does. He totally looks like Harley. Dude, I didn't notice it until you called it out, but he totally looks like a young Harley. Yeah. It looks like a young Harley. Dude, that's fucking hilarious, man. Especially when my beard was bigger. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Cool. But yeah. Well, that's cool. Business owner, man. Thanks, man. Nice. Cool. Super cool. We love Adam. Adam's the dream maker. You did that? Yeah, just now. Just now? Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, do you want to hand with the yard later? No, it's fun. Oh, okay. We're just like listening in on this shit. No. Talk some more. No. He's got off to go do something. So wait, what's his business here? Explain to us. What's his business? So my brother does. He has a lot of experience with tree service, right? Okay. Not logging. He's not a lumberjack. That's different. That's commercial, right? He's a tree surgeon. Yes, that's actually the best way of putting it. Okay. Tree surgeon, an arborist, to be very specific. He likes to do his niche is like ornamental pruning and fine tree work, right? Making sure like he likes to work with the wood. In a way, more rough work. So like making sure that like your fruit trees are trimmed up in an appropriate way so that they're healthy and work well or grow well. He'll do. Oh shit! I have a. Sorry, I got distracted. I just realized I burnt a hole in my shoe last night. A little bit of bush trimming, I suppose, topiary arrangements in a way. But like small urban horticulture, I suppose, in a way. Like, if you have a bunch of big ass trees around your property, he'll like trim up those things so that it's like not dangerous. Or like if you have like, say you have a bunch of Japanese maples or whatever in your front yard, he'll come through and trim them up and make them look nice without doing serious damage. Because like some guys out there will top them out, cut a big chunk right off the top. Yep. And that's really unhealthy for the trees. So he understands how the tree works. Right. And yeah, he's like the kind of guy who would come in and be like, oh snap, you've got some weird fungus on your tree, and like this is how you can fix that. Or like a tree or branch will break, right? But it's not completely like fallen off. Like he can come in and fix that. That kind of thing. Yep. That's cool, man. Very cool stuff. That's cool. Yeah. And now he's got himself a website. Hell yeah. Yep.
Yep.
What's his website, man? You gotta be. We can't go through all that and not pimp the website.
Well, it's not complete.
Okay,
so
I
hesitate to throw it out there.
We'll wait. We're gonna wait. We'll be patient.
But I will throw out his Instagram because
I need somebody to work with my wood one of these days. I need to get him over here. I need to make my trees all healthy.
That's his Instagram. I recommend everybody go follow him.
Did you put him in chat?
I did.
Cool.
Here, I'll spam a little bit.
So
go follow him on Instagram. He's a cool dude.
What's up, Knack?
And yeah, I'm very proud, and he's kind of inspired me to do a little bit more on my own businessy stuff too. So
that's awesome, man.
I really want to push more on that stuff. Can he fix
awesome.
the bonsai? Actually, probably to an extent. He's not like a super bonsai guy, but if your little tree was sick or isn't growing well, like I'm sure he could give some advice in that way.
Hey, fun fact: growing up, when I was growing up in our yard, we had a 500-year-old bonsai tree. That was huge.
Oh,
it was fucking like, normally they're really small because you trim them back and everything to get them to all warp and everything. This was one that was passed down through like 3 generations of one family and like 5 generations of another family, and the dude kept it on our property because we had the right soil conditions and everything for it. And he'd literally like bury it for like 3 or 4 months out of the year, and then he'd take it out and move it indoors. And it was big. It was like the size of this. It was fucking huge. It was like the size of this table. But I remember when I was outside, they put stakes around it and everything. Like, don't play next to the 500-year-old tree, because like you fell into this thing, you just like mortally wound it forever.
That's so cool.
But it was cool to see a big one. Like growing up, and I don't know what that would even cost. Like that's got to be a tree that costs like 20 plus maybe $100,000 something. I don't know, what is the price of a bonsai tree that's like the size of this table. It was the coolest thing ever. It looked fake as shit though, man. It looked like it looked like it was something that somebody made in a prop store. I wish I had a picture of it. It was back before like digital cameras and shit when I was a kid, but it literally looked fake. It was so cool, it looked fake. But I always thought that was really cool because the guy that did our landscaping growing up, it's like we didn't pay him anything because we were poor as shit. So he just needed a place to put all his plants because he basically got evicted out of his house. And so my parents were like, oh, well, you can just put all your plants on our property because we got 5 acres of, and it's up in the woods. Nobody's going to fuck with it. And so he brought all his shit over, and he was the one that brought over that bonsai and like planted it outside. And I was just like, this is the coolest plant I've ever seen. You could see it like driving up into the driveway. It was really cool. It was like the one cool feature my house had. Everything else was fucked up. Like our yard was eroding away and sliding down into the river. The house had like cracks in the walls and shit and air blowing by the windows. But man, we had a cool ass bonsai. And he was always worried that somebody was going to steal it. Like, because apparently that happens. Like shit like that, gets like something that's that high dollar of a value. So it was one of those things where it's like he was always over at the house. Like he'd wake up in the morning, look out the window, and it's like his name was Ricky, and he'd just be outside, just like wandering around, taking care of his shit, because he was afraid it was gonna get stolen. So he'd be like stopping by like in the middle of the night. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and he'd just pull up in the driveway, and be like, "Who the fuck's here at 11 o'clock at night?" And he'd be out there like his flashlight, looking at his plants and stuff. He was an interesting character to say the least. But back to what we were talking about there. The fact that you can have like the butterfly effect on people's lives.
The
thing that I wanted to end that on was social media. People that say that words can't hurt anybody. And it's like, no. That's your coping mechanism to get out of any responsibility. But the truth is, how many people, am I responsible for either, hurting or maiming just from being completely insensitive and being overly brutal, right? And I take, I actually hope that I never find out. Like, that's something I definitely want to be ignorant about, because I don't think I can handle the answer to that question. I don't think a lot of us could. If you're an influencer, this is the thing that's really scary. The more people that you have follow you, you start getting a higher percentage of people that get unhealthy relationships, one-sided relationships. And that's why I stopped reading emails. Like, my wife was like, she could see me just destroy, because I get these emails from people that's like, I'm going to commit suicide if you don't respond back to me. Like I'm in a bad place. I need you right now. You're the only person that understands me. Like literally like Eminem Stan level shit. And there was a couple times where I was so taken back by it, I responded, and that was always the wrong move. It fucked me up for weeks, because as soon as you respond, they get their hooks into you, and then they're like, I need you. You have to respond. If you don't respond within like 8 hours, they're like, oh my God, I'm sitting here with the gun right now. I'm going to end it all. And it got to the point where I just started, like, now what I do is I just forward them to a mental health professional and say, can you please get in touch with this person? This is all the information that I have. And I just let them handle it. And then it got to the point where I had to completely ignore it, because unfortunately, when you have a big following, there are people that will latch onto you and create like unhealthy relationships in their mind. And it's a scary thing. It's a really, really scary thing. So So it's one of those things where it's like it's good that we can be ignorant of that, but at the same time, keep that in your head. Next time you're on social media and you decide that, you're in a bad mood and you're going to just full on fucking attack somebody. And I'll be the first to admit, I've done it myself many, many a times because I've just lost my temper. Just realize that the person on the other side, you don't know what mental state they're in. And though it is their responsibility, ultimately, you don't want to be a part of that. Like, you definitely don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Douglas Pocknet, thank you for the $10 tip. We appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that actually kind of touches on the idea I was thinking just before I got distracted, was like the circles of influence. Like, there's only so much that I can feel responsible for, you know. There's just the like, as an example, to like, I don't care what I can't care about what some people think or say about me, if it's not directly to my face, because they are outside of those circles. The people who are closest to me have the most influence on my mental state, I guess. And then as you go further outside of those circles, and it's not like a hardcore thing, right? Like, you are here and they are there. It flows and fluctuates because people who are further outside to me interact with people who are closer to me, and so those people farther outside can have an effect closer to me, but I try to deal with those events as they happen. Like, I don't have the mental bandwidth to care what that guy over there who, unless what he does affects me directly or affects someone who affects me directly,
if you took on the that's the thing. You can't take on the responsibility of what other people ultimately do or how you affect other people because it's in their court. But I'm just trying to do like a thought experiment here. A lot of people don't think that what they say, like online and how they act online, affects others, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I talked to a therapist, and the majority of her clients that she has this therapist, the biggest part of their depression is their online interactions. Yeah. Because in real life, without the internet, people tend to be a little bit more empathetic. People tend to keep their opinions to themselves on certain things. They're a lot less unfiltered. So your in-person reactions, you get this perception that everybody at their core is a kind-hearted person. And then you go online where it's like nobody has filters, but still has the same level, if not more level of access to you than they do in person. Because in person, you just walk away. People are like, well, you can just turn off your computer. Yeah, I dare you to try to do that in the middle of like an in-depth argument with somebody. Like, I dare you just like turn your shit off and like not care what they're saying to 100,000 other people on the internet. Like, I dare you. I have people that do that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, man, I just turn off my computer. And then like 5 minutes later, they're tweeting back at the person. It's like, no, you didn't turn your shit off. Like, dude, you're all talk. Like, and I know exactly how that feels because I'd be a hypocrite if I said that because I do the same shit. I'm like, fuck this. I'm done with this guy or whatever. And then it's like 5 minutes later, I'm like, I wonder what he's saying right now. And it's like, why do I care? Why do I care? And that's why I go to a psychologist, because she helps me figure that shit out. And why? It's because I'm empathetic. I want huge. The thing is I want people to. I want to have good interactions with everybody. Unfortunately, that's not possible. My therapist already told me that that's not possible. The other thing is, like I said, it was killing me when I was getting these emails from people like threatening to off themselves and saying they were so depressed that they were going to kill their families and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, dude, like, don't put that pressure on me. One of the worst ones that really fucked me up, where I cried for like an hour, was like somebody sent me a GoFundMe. And they're like, you need to share this GoFundMe because my daughter's dying in the hospital right now and I owe $50,000 and they're not going to give her the treatment she needs and let her die if you don't give them this money. And at the time, it's like, I didn't know any more than that, right? And so I basically let him hold me hostage. I ended up sharing the GoFundMe, and then I found out that it was a complete and total fucking scam. And that person he was doing it to everybody. Like, he was saying different things. The story was inconsistent to other YouTubers, and I just took the bait. And I'm not saying that there aren't real GoFundMes out there, but the thing is I learned in that moment that I can't let people emotionally hold me hostage that aren't people that are personally like invested in my life, like physically. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Nobody does. And unfortunately,
that's super good.
And my therapist helped me with a lot of that stuff. Like, you guys may have noticed that I've become a lot more unfiltered. Not here though. Here I keep it tame. On my Twitch channel, I go fucking rage nuts. And I never was like that. I was never a person that would speak so freely on things like that because I was always cognizant of hurting somebody's feelings. And I completely changed it around after being in therapy because I realized in therapy that when you try to do what is right for everybody collectively as a group, you end up having to completely silence yourself and not have a voice. You're not allowed to have a voice because everything you say ultimately will offend somebody. And she made me understand that. It doesn't matter. If I say I like cats, you're always going to have the 3 people who are like, I'm allergic to cats. If one touches me, I die. You know, that's really insensitive of you to say. It's like there's always somebody who's going to be offended. So you need to stop being so down on yourself. But at the same time, now what I do is if I have anybody that comes at me, like trying to hold me emotionally hostage or something like that, I just instantly grab it and I just forward it to mental care professional. I have an email address that I just add on to the CC. I reply to it and then I just kill it after that. And that's only if it gets through the filters. I have filters that stop the bulk majority of it now.
There's a similarity there to the money thought experiment that we were just talking about, where like, people can manipulate you with the emotional currency as well. That like, and you can compromise yourself and your opinions and your, I suppose, morals or whatnot, by kowtowing to the audience or to the fans and stuff. Like, like you said, like the cats thing, like, cats will kill me, blah blah blah. And if enough people like rose up and said, you're a terrible person for liking cats, and that could manipulate you into thinking, oh shit, I'm a bad person because I like cats.
Better not talk about cats anymore.
In the same way that the 500 million or whatever could manipulate you into doing and saying things that you might not necessarily honestly feel.
Well, it's like on my Twitch channel, I started talking about politics. That's one of the things that no YouTubers really talk about unless that's all they're about, right? It's like they don't talk about politics because it's such a polarizing topic and people don't like to hear about it. But the thing is, if I silence myself, then I feel responsible for a lot of people believing this information because nobody in their circle was able to give it to them straight. You know, and even though the majority of them might not like it, and some of them may even like leave, there's still other people that are going to come in that are interested in what I have to say, regardless of whether they believe in it or not. And I have to realize that by you basically trying to filter yourself for your particular little group that you cultivated, you're missing a huge opportunity to actually have an even bigger group of people that actually are a little bit more on your wavelength, because those people found you uninteresting because you were overly compromising. So I don't compromise on that stuff. Dude, you need to entertain the troops for like 2 minutes. I got to run downstairs and take a tinkle. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Bladder calls, my man.
I gotta pee. Let's see. The loser emphasis. Yeah. No, I mean it's fine to care, but it can only go so far. You know. I ditched Facebook 4 years ago. Thank you, S Informant, for the $5. I ditched Facebook 4 years ago. So much negativity. I'm too empathetic. And people love to troll, didn't need the drama, huge way gone, don't miss it. That's awesome. And that's important too. Like, not just like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media stuff too, but people. If you what is it like? If you are, it's like if you surround yourself with people who aren't supportive or whatnot, then you need to stop that, I guess. You don't necessarily have to cut them out completely, because that's really, really hard, especially when it's like family. But limit your interactions with negativity as much as you can. Have you seen the sponsor? Oh, this is from Pup Shepherd, $5. Thank you very much, sir. He says, I get more good comments than bad, but I have a few bad ones, but I delete them because YouTube algorithm. Mostly people freaked out about the pup stuff. I mean, I would say part of me would resist against deleting the negative comments, because engagement's engagement, right? You could, I don't know if you can just hide that stuff, but I feel like good or bad, there's no such thing as bad news, or what is it? Bad publicity or whatever. So Red Wing Blackbird, thank you for $5. Man, you guys have been great today. Thank you very, very much. Have you seen the sponsored ads asking for contributions towards a kid with a terminal illness? If you can afford a sponsored ad, can you pay medical? Yeah, right. Let's see. SpaceX is live on YouTube doing countdown.
Ooh, I got sweaty pitties.
Oh,
sweaty pitties.
SpaceX.
Wait, what happened while I was gone?
There's a launch right now.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
We're missing a launch?
Somebody said there was something going on. SpaceX was live, counting down to something.
Well, if you find the launch, I can get it up on the screen.
Dan R. Hansen, I just joined them. I guess Orange Man bad talking. No, like that's really weird. I don't. Why would you immediately assume that?
Wait, what was that?
Is that what you came here for?
No, that's my stream. You guys are getting them mixed up.
Oh yeah, if you want that kind of shit, go to Twitch.
Yeah, if you want to hear the Orange Man, you gotta come watch my show every other day. I'll be on tomorrow.
Do you have bad color correction on your Twitch stream? Like, why Orange Man? Like, no, I know who he's talking about. I'm just goofing around. Oh man, not to be completely like off topic or whatever, but man, okay, so I've been watching Master Chef on Hulu, right? Holy crap. I don't know if it's the TV or the recording, but the color correction is terrible. The reds are so oversaturated that it's almost so distracting to watch. I need to bring it up on my PC here because like I don't know if I don't think it's the TV. Like not the physical TV itself, like because I watch other shows and it's fine. So it's got to be somebody like color corrected MasterChef on Hulu terribly.
Interesting.
Yes, it's so
bad. Do you think it's related to like just not as many people working on crews and stuff like right now, or?
I have no because it's like old episodes.
Oh, weird.
You know? Yeah, I'm watching like season 6 or something right now. And the reds are so oversaturated, like I can't even tell how well the steak is cooked because it's like just blown out. It's so bad.
Yeah, see that stuff's excusable on YouTube. It's not excusable on television.
It's just nuts.
Hey, Cat R, thank you for that $5 tip earlier. Sin Format, thank you for the $5. He said I ditched Facebook 4 years ago. So much negativity. I'm too too empathetic. And people love to troll, didn't need the drama, huge weight gone, didn't miss it. I know a lot of people that just up and leave social networking. Me, unfortunately, I can't really do that because it's a big part of what I do. Otherwise, I'd consider it because it is a key talking point in my therapy sessions. It really is. Pup Shepherd, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, I get more good comments than bad, but I've had a few bad ones. But I delete them because YouTube algorithm. Most people freaked out about the pup stuff. You know, Pup Shepherd, hey, everybody's into their thing, right? And I honestly could understand why some people might be shocked by, I mean, I was shocked the first time I saw, what your Twitter was. So, warning, go there with your own, with an open mind. But at the same time, fuck them, man. You do you. You ain't hurting nobody by what you do. And that's the thing that we need to learn as a people is we need to stop trying to control shit that doesn't directly affect us. Yep. And it doesn't. It doesn't matter. You could be the most religious person on earth and hate everything, and still realize that those people they're across the internet from you. You don't have to do things with them. You're not being forced to do anything. You're not even being forced to see what they type. You can shut all that down. You have total control. So instead of spending your time bitching, just shut it down. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't work for everybody because if it's somebody that's controlling the fate of the planet and directly is intertwined with you in your daily shit, you do have to be able to say stuff about it because being quiet is complicity. But I understand why some people have to be quiet because again, right. it's back to the social currency. It's like you have to weigh things. It's like what do I lose and what do I gain, right? Pros versus cons. Luckily, I'm self-employed, so my HR department is me, so I can pretty much do anything I want, and that may affect opportunities in the future. But I've accepted that. That's something that I accepted as a part of this whole gig is the fact that I'm self-employed. Everything you say on the internet stays on the internet. I've said things that I regret. I've done things that I regret. Yeah. It's all part of me, though. It's all part of me and the living organism that is my online presence. And I, just like everybody else, I have to work with that in the future. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that at the end of the day, as long as I'm true to myself and as long as I feel like I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did what I think the right thing was, then I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Hey, Red Wing Blackbird, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, have you seen the sponsored ads asking for contributions towards a kid with a terminal illness? Yep, we were just talking about that earlier. If you can afford a sponsored ad, you can pay medical. That's actually a really good point that I didn't even really take into account. If you're making a video asking for money to save your kid and you have a Raid Shadow Legends fucking, advert in it, you definitely have a large revenue stream. So yeah, at that point, and the thing is like, I don't mind people asking for money for things as long as they're honest about it. That's my big thing. As long as you're honest about it. Like, I don't even care the people that create a GoFundMe. It's like, I want to build a computer so that I can fucking 3D model stuff. As long as there's a tangible end to what they're doing and they deliver on what they're saying and people want to help them towards that goal, I don't hold them ill towards it any more than I hold like gamer girls streaming with their boobies hanging out or whatever. As long as they're within the rules of the platform, they're using what they got. I use what I got. How is that any fucking different? It's not. Like,
yeah.
We're all whores to the system, AuxxZillary. We're all whores to the system.
Oh, which, I mean, hey, fine. I don't know.
By the way, go watch Sasha Grey live stream on Twitch. It's awesome.
Which I bet she's not even like super out there.
Not at all. Not at all. Like, if you did not know her past, you would never, ever in a million years suspect it. Like, she is just seriously just a gamer. Just a gamer on Twitch.
I believe it.
It's the coolest thing to watch.
It's like watching like T-Pain every once in a while. Like, I follow T-Pain on Twitch, and he doesn't stream very often, but when he does, dude, it's just like him playing Fortnite and stuff. It's not even music related. It's nothing about it. It's just him like having a good time, and good for him. I dig it. Man, I don't know. Find your thing. Everybody's got a thing, and like, I don't know, man. It just.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that everybody has their niche. And the thing is I've never subscribed to the argument that it's like, oh man, they're stealing viewers and they're cheating the platform and they're doing this. No, because if they're there, they're not violating the rules. They might be violating what you consider the rules are, but you're not the person that enforces those rules. The platform is. So as long as it's cool with the platform, it needs to be cool with you. Like, if you're on that platform, it's part of. Well, it doesn't have to. You don't have to be cool as shit. But I'm just saying you do have to tolerate it. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think, hey, if people enjoy watching a girl with a big old rack and a shirt on playing some video game and she has a bubbly personality and shit, let them. Like, why is that bad? That's not.
Yeah, I don't. Dude, I don't know.
I like gamer girls.
Focus on your own shit, man.
I like gamer girls.
Focus on your own shit. It's just.
And the people that you notice, the people that complain are always the people that wouldn't be successful anyways. You ever notice that? Like, the people that are like, oh my god, they're stealing my views. It's like, dude, you got like 13 viewers on Twitch. You don't talk to the audience very much. You don't engage chat. It's fucking cringeworthy video content. And you're mad at the girl that's got like massive overlays and sound effects and is doing all this crazy shit. Like, dude, fucking up your game.
Not even Twitch though. It's like, I bet you catch a lot of shit for your subs, right, on YouTube. Like, you got 900,000 fucking subscribers on YouTube, and and everybody knows that, like, oh, how come this guy has so much blah de blah when he barely does anything, blah 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 blah, and it's like, I don't know. The point is, for every minute that you waste complaining about what somebody else has got, the have versus have not, you are not, like, that minute could have been spent doing something that you like to do. Like, do you enjoy bitching and moaning about the people who have what you want? Why aren't you doing something to get what you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah, run what you brung. For me, that's the thing is, like, everybody, if you want to build an audience and stuff like that, if you're just focusing on other people, then your best bet is a drama channel. You might as well just be a drama channel, because that's what drama channels feed on, is basically building themselves on the backs of others because they've got nothing themselves.
More power to, like, man.
People like them though. That's why they have so much viewership. Yeah. People like drama. They do. I know that even.
Yeah, the young one, the intern. She watches SS Sniper Wolf on YouTube, and as far as I'm aware, like, that's her entire content is like reacting to other videos. Yeah. She's what they call a reply girl. Yeah, to me, I find that sort of content to be very lowbrow and, like, just it's not my kind of content. Do I sit there and complain and say, oh my gosh, as the Sniper Wolf was taking viewers away from me, or like all those subs could be for Jerry? No, like, it's not content for me. I don't like it. I think it's silly or whatever. I have my opinion, but I'm not going to do anything to try and stop her from making that content or complain that it's like that it shouldn't exist or anything like that. It's just, you know what? I'm not going to watch that. And, like, I'm not even going to tell the intern to not watch it. The only stuff I ever tell her not to watch, like strictly said, I do not ever want to see you watching this, was the Paul brothers. I will literally take your fucking iPad away from you, or I will turn the TV off if I see Logan or Jake Paul on that shit. I cannot, in good conscience, allow that to be supported. But beyond that,
I agree with you. Whatever. I agree with you, because here's the thing. Okay, you do one thing. You do have to protect your kids from like super bad influences. Like children are exempt from this policy, in my opinion. As long as they're under the realm of the parent should be the one guiding the content and stuff that they consume. My opinion. Sure. But the Paul brothers, they've already proven that they've pushed scams, gambling boxes, loot crate shit. They do a lot of predatory shit towards young kids. And their entire methodology of becoming famous is to basically be an incredibly bad influence. Yeah. And so some people like that and they think it's awesome, but it's not going to serve them well in life as a kid watching that. Now, as an adult, if you like to watch it for cringe factor, which is like their entire adult audience, knock yourself out. Go ahead.
Hell, and even then, it's like the complaining part too. Like, go ahead. Like, you go ahead and complain, man. Like, that's part of like. I don't want to hear it, but again, I'm not going to do anything to make it more difficult for you. Like, I'm not going to say like, oh, you should be banned for complaining. I'll say that, man, you should be spending a lot more of that time doing something a lot more productive. But whatever, if you
and you don't have to give them your platform either. That's another misconception. Is everybody thinks you're silencing me, you're censoring me. No, fuck you. No, this is my platform. It's your platform. I don't have any kind of obligation to share you or to even let you fucking say 3 words on my watch. This is my place. You go create your place. And so that's an argument that I've gotten really tired of lately on social media. Is like, oh my God, you blocked me, so now people can't hear me. You're censoring me. It's like, no, I blocked you because you're a fucking idiot, and this is my house. Like, if you came to me in person and did this shit in my living room, I'd drop kick your ass out of here. I'd do a lot more than just fucking ban you.
The thing is, it's like, yes, I did, because that's what the tool is for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did block you, and you can call me all kinds of. You can whisper me or DM me and say I'm a dumbass, or like, oh, I can't handle the truth, or I'm such a sensitive soy boy, or whatever the fuck. I don't care. You're gone.
I love the hypocrisy of that too, though. Oh my God, you're so fucking sensitive. You blocked me. Why are you still talking? Like, you are obviously like really got your panties in a bunch over what I did. Like, the one guy, what's his name? Jacob or whatever. So anyways, there's a guy like last week that was on my Twitch stream that we banned him because he was just being a total fucking troll. He was coming in and just posting propaganda.
Everybody
and he just he messaged like 100 people over 2 hours. Like, everybody in the channel. He was starting conversations. Anybody he could get to listen. He was just like, I mean, I cannot, but he must have typed 1,000 messages. And every single one of his messages, like the second message was like, oh, Barnacules is afraid to debate me. I'm not mad. He's mad. I've made him so mad. He's like trying to silence me and everything. I don't even care. I don't even want to be in a stupid fucking channel. Well, why are you messaging 100 people begging to get back in and debate me if you don't want to be in my channel? Right. No, he was literally like fucking devastated that he got banned, and he couldn't admit it. He could not admit it. And it's like, I see that all the time. It drives me absolutely fucking batshit crazy usually. But in this case, it was pretty funny because I've never seen somebody go to that length before, and it was actually pretty entertaining. But he's like messaging my wife, and he messaged everybody but Jatman, which is the first person that always gets messaged when something happens. He messaged everybody. I'm getting like messages on Facebook from like randos that were just watching the stream that aren't mods. They aren't VIPs. They're nothing. They're like, oh, I just got some random message from some dude who like says he wants to debate you live on stream. And I guarantee you, if I did that, if I said, hey, debate me, dude would just disappear. He would just disappear because I tried this so many times. That's why I don't do it anymore. Everybody's like, debate me, and then I get them on the stream or whatever, and they're like, click. It's like, God damn it. So yeah. Anyways, I don't debate people live on stream anymore. It's not a debate. It's my channel. I can say whatever I want. You can create your channel. You can say whatever you want. I'm not gonna try to shut you down. You can try to shut me down. It ain't gonna really happen. And we just leave it at that. Everybody has their own little realm. Yeah. I believe the one thing the internet does do is make everybody equal to a degree.
In a big way.
It does. And, sure. and here some people might go, oh, well, you have more influence, so you have to be careful about what you say because you influence a larger group. I do agree with that to a certain extent. I do take responsibility, like when I go fucking off the deep end on something, and I realize that I have a lot of people watching what I say. Right? I do understand that there is a weight involved there. But as far as you, it's like, I can't stop you from tweeting. I can't stop you from messaging on Facebook. I can't stop you from having an Instagram. I can't stop you from having any of those things. That's your world. And that's a good thing. Yep. That's a good thing because I want that too. And if I could stop you, you could stop me. And that would be a bad thing. So I'm all for that. But I don't owe you a platform. I don't owe you a place to fucking rant from the things. Here's another thing that's interesting. It's like, you need to let your viewers know that No, I don't, because then I'm advertising you and I'm sending people your way. Why would I want to do that to somebody who's being a total douche nozzle? Like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to do that. Rant. So sorry. I keep forgetting we're on Tech Talk and not on Morning Coffee. Eric Lacosta, thank you for the $5. He said, I wanted to go to Florida to watch the first manned launch since the shuttle era, but with COVID-19, I have to make do with the live stream. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of us aren't going to be able to see live events, concerts, conventions. I mean, I loved conventions. Conventions were kind of my thing for a long time, and it's sad to think that even once this all opens back up, I'm going to be really, really cautious about going to conventions, because the one thing that works against me is it's really hard for me to just be incognito at a convention that surrounds what I do. So you have a lot of people that just run up to you and just like, I mean, just, they honestly can't help it in some cases. And I totally understand it. And I love the attention, but I'm going to be scared shitless, man. If I go to a convention, I see somebody, Barnacules, and they're like barreling across the room at me. I'm going to be like, oh my God, where's my mask? Where's my suit? And I never was like that before. 176, thank you for the $10, said, just had to tip the sexy beasts, plural. Oh, wow. We both got included in that one. Got to spend that stimulus money. Speaking of stimulus money, how many in chat to let us know if you got your stimulus money. I'm curious how many people got their stimulus money. I still haven't gotten any, so now I'm starting to get concerned.
I did.
Oh, you did? Was it direct deposit or did you get a check?
It was direct deposit.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check and see. Miss B, let us know in chat if it showed up in our bank account. Because if it didn't, we probably have to go do the website thing. Because I know I fit the requirements for it.
She's a mount.
Red Wing Blackbird, thank you for the $2, said, when 4 streamers I like stream the same time. Well, you just got to open up 4 windows, bro. What you do is open up four windows and use the Windows key and the arrow keys. And you go bump, 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 and you get 4 quadrants on your screen. Problem solved, man. We're here to solve your problems. It's what we do. Our viewership's actually crept up quite a bit. We're at 528 viewers right now.
Guys, thank you. I think we've said this pretty much every episode, but 100%. Do not feel bad for not throwing money in super chats and things like that.
Yep.
Just being here, your time is valuable, and being here, spending it with us, chatting, and heck, even just watching, lurking is great too. We appreciate all 500 and some odd of you, because I'm sure it's fluctuating, but
this is therapy for us, man.
I say it every time in my streams too. Just being here is super cool. Like, dude, it's 530 people just in the moment. 530 people. That's so many people.
Yeah, when you visualize that, it's pretty crazy. It's like you being like in an auditorium, like a packed auditorium at a school or something.
You guys are amazing. That's almost my entire graduating senior class. Okay. I think my senior class was like 600 and something. I think. No, it couldn't have been that much. Maybe it's more than my senior class. But regardless, you guys are awesome. Are you into custom keyboards? I like looking at them. I just wanted to jump on that because it stuck out to me. Ooh, woo, oh, woo. I like looking at them. I think it's a super cool hobby for people. Yeah. Supra or GTR.
Ooh, wait, are we talking modern or old school?
Right.
Like, the new Supra is just a BMW. I'm not impressed by it. I'm really not impressed by it.
I agree. If we're talking like Fast and Furious, the what is it, the 95 Supra and the 90 and the
I think 92 was the golden year for Supra. Like before they went to the weird OBT shit that like couldn't be.
We're talking the 2JZ, the one from either the Fast and the Furious Supra or the Fast and the Furious GTR.
So twin turbo 2JZ versus modern GPR, like like an R34 or something like that.
I like the look of the skyline from Fast and the Furious, that silver and blue.
Yep, same with me, man.
Is my favorite
with the round taillights, super boxy. Yeah, I love it.
It's so cool. It reminds me. Actually, there's the BMWs, the E30 body style BMWs too that are. I like those so much.
Yep. I mean, if I had the choice,
stuff, I have no idea.
I would take. Well, the answer would be the same for both. I'd take the old R34 GTR if we were comparing against the Supra. I like the Supra's look better though. The 92 or the last generation was Gen 3 Supras looked fucking awesome. Like, I love the way the cockpit was laid out around the driver. It was like, fuck the passenger. It was all like F-16 cockpit. I love that. And I've sat in one before. I've never driven one, but I've sat in one. I thought it was like the coolest place to be, even by today's standards. That being said, I would still take the GTR because of the all-wheel drive. And to be honest, you could get similar power out of the GTR, the GTR as you could the 2JZ. So I'd take that all day long. Plus the all-wheel drive system in that thing was just fucking amazing, even by today's standards. And then a modern car, I'd still take the GTR. I'd take a modern GTR over a Supra. Cool too. They're faster. They're way faster than the modern Supra. The amount of money that you have to put into them to make them even faster is way less. Like, for instance, the modern Supra, I saw some guy they got it up to 900 horsepower or something like that, which is crazy, right? But they put in like $30,000 or $40,000 into the drivetrain to do it. It's like, go buy a GTR and it's like you throw a fucking chip in it and you get like another like 150 horsepower for free with an exhaust and an intake. Then you do like some very minor shit to the motor and you can get up over 1,000 horsepower with those things. So I'd still go Skyline all day.
And then there's the third gen RX-7, which is super fresh. I like the look of that one a lot. I've never driven
with the it's got like a dented in roof. It's got the I love that look.
Bubbly. It looks kind of bubbly and stuff, and I like the look of that a lot.
And shout out for rotary motors. Like, rotary motors need to get a lot more respect. They kind of fell off the radar because they're inefficient and they burn a lot of oil. But when you take those out of the equation, you're just looking at power delivery. Oh my god, dude! Like, you can get a 1.3 liter Dorito engine, they call them, right? The rotaries. Dorito. And it's so light that you can you could pick it up. You could pick up the entire motor. The entire motor, most grown men could just pick it up and just set it on a bench. That's how light it is. And we're talking about a motor that with a turbo can put out 300 plus horsepower. And here's the thing. The cool thing about rotors is you can add as many as you could literally, in theory, make a 100 rotor engine if you wanted to. It'd be long. It'd be like the Ace and Gary car from Saturday Night Live. But no, you could. There's some guys that are doing quad rotor now, like Rob Dahm. He did a quad rotor that he's gonna get 2,000 horsepower out of conservatively, and it's gonna rev to like 11 or 12,000 RPM, and realistically, he could rev it to 14 if he wanted to. So it's crazy power. It's absolutely crazy power. And the cool thing is they create so much more exhaust gas than a piston engine because of their gross inefficiency that you drive a turbo really, really well. Like, if you like rotary engines and turbos, you don't get a ton of leg. They're fantastic. Like, I drove an old school RX-7. It wasn't even the last generation. I think it was a Gen 2, the one that looked really fucking boxy. And I drove one of those and just ratted it out with a turbo, and I was like, my god, this thing is like peppy as shit, even though it was like ancient. It was like from the 80s. Plus they don't weigh anything. They don't weigh. Rotary motors, they're just so lightweight. It's like the transmission weighs more than the motor does.
That's crazy.
So I love rotaries, but the problem is you have to rebuild them a bunch because they get tons of blow by and then they start smoking really bad. And they do have parts you can buy to build like reliable ones now, like pretty reliable, but even the most reliable rotary engine isn't going to be anywhere near close to as efficient and reliable as like a modern LS or something like that.
That's fun. Ah, man, cars are cool.
I love cars. I love cars. Oh, well,
I'm not super knowledgeable, but I like them.
I could tell him, like, oh yeah, modern LS, and you're like, what the fuck's he talking about? You know what an LS is, though. Like, come on, everybody knows what an LS is.
Like the motor, right? The LS1 and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the Corvettes and the Camaros. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
they dropped a couple of those in Cadillacs.
Yeah, they haven't. Dude, they drop them in everything. You literally, if you tried, I bet you couldn't find a car that hasn't been LS swapped. Like, I shit you not. I saw like a fucking Russian. What's that Russian shitbox car that they have? The really boxy one. No. It's the one that Russia built. It was the only car you could buy for a while in Russia because the communist nation was like, you could only buy the shitbox. They reviewed it on Top Gear, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was fucking hilarious. Like, they're the shittiest car ever made. And I found a YouTube video of a guy who LS swapped one of those. He put an LS3 in it. And this like total shitbox, car that you could buy for like $500. Like, it was such a piece of shit. I've seen an LS swap smart car, which, like, you're like, how is that even possible? It's like so small, but they built a cage on it and threw a fucking LS in the back of it.
I've seen them do early on when the smarts first
came
out.
The Trabant. The
Trabant. I saw them put a Ferrari motor. They actually had to extend the chassis a little bit to get the Ferrari motor in there.
In a smart car?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Because they like cut out the whole
Yep.
back side of it, and the thing like sticks out of the trunk
That
space a
seems to be
little
like
bit.
a new trend, is putting
It's
engines in
like
smart cars.
it's just two seats and a motor, man. Like, what do you do? Like, that's
So check this
wow.
out. So PFI Speed, they're a channel I watch a lot because they're affiliated with Cletus McFarlane. They're
Yeah.
doing a K engine swap into a smart car, which is basically just like a Type R, like a Civic Type R
Okay.
engine. And then there's another team called Faster Proms, who's also has loose affiliation with Cletus McFarlane. They're taking a smart car and challenging the PFI guys by putting a Suzuki Hayabusa motorcycle engine in it. So, and I'm scrolling down. So there's Hayabusa swap seems to be the one that everybody does on smart cars. But if you scroll down, it's like they've stuck everything into a smart car. Like, oh yeah, here we go. An '09 big block Chevy powered smart car. I guarantee you that's an LS. And it's just crazy, like, looking at all these smart car swaps. Like, everybody puts LS motors and everything. And the reason being is LS motors are super simple, they're super reliable, they're super cheap, and they're actually pretty lightweight and for the power that they're capable of.
Huh.
But they're kind of big.
That's
That's the only problem with them, is they're not exactly super small. They do make ones that are smaller than others, obviously, but like if you're trying to cram it into some of these cars, they're having to like cut out the fender wells and shit and cut out the firewall and move it back. But they do it. They stuff it and everything, man.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite one so far I've seen is an LS swap DeLorean. Because the DeLorean is known just as a shitbox. The motor in it is super unreliable and is a piece of shit, and the car weighs like 4 billion pounds because it's all stainless steel. But it was always, it had a shitty motor, and some dude did an LS swap in it, and it worked out really, really well. Like, it looks like a factory replacement. It's like a daily driver now. Can't remember who reviewed it. There was a really famous YouTuber who did a review of it and took it out and drove it, and he said it was like the most, and he owns a DeLorean himself, and he said it was the most sorted DeLorean, and he said it felt like what he hoped a DeLorean like would have been like out of the factory. Like the way that it idled, the way it drove, the way it felt, everything about it, the way it shifted. They're actually pieces of shit, though. Have you ever gone for a drive even as a passenger in a DeLorean before? Dude, slowest fucking car you've ever been in. Like, I swear to God, a Kia Sorento would blow the doors off of it. It is the slowest accelerating car I've probably ever been in. Like, even like modern, even compared to like that era, they were so slow, and I have no idea how he made such a cool looking car and put such a shitty power plant in it. Wow. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand it. Hey, Adam, thank you for the 30 Czech crowns. He said, we had a Trabant. What an amazing car. Repair kit was a screwdriver, 14 millimeter key, and a box of glue.
That's awesome.
Dude, they were so bad. I remember on Top Gear, they did like the Trabant challenge or something like that, where they were all driving them around a track like for 24 hours, and the headlights were popping out of them and shit just from hitting bumps in the dirt. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Is that the car that is in the game called Jalopy?
I've never even played that game. Here, let me see here.
You'd probably dig it. It is. Yeah, so they call the car a Leica, but it's a car modeled after the Trabant 601. I just saw it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's the shit bucket I was thinking of.
So the game is like you drive around doing stuff. It's like you're just driving around, but you got to like keep the car going. You have to keep you got to fix it and refuel it, and
that's
if
hilarious.
you run out of gas on the road, you got to walk to the next gas station and stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
I'm trying to find the Lada because I think that was the other one that you could buy in Russia. Let me see if I can find it here. The funny thing is Lada was like, they had a pretty competitive Formula One team, but their street car was just garbage. That's actually true for a lot of the Formula One teams, though, because didn't they have a Formula One team? I want to say that they did, and Alfa Romeo's, like, until recently, I mean, they're okay cars now, but like back in the day, Alfa Romeo's, like, they were shit cars. They were just they were cool looking cars, and they were fun cars to drive, but man, reliable, like everything just fall off them. My grandpa, before he died, had a what was it? God, I can't remember the model. Shit, he had one, and I swear every weekend he was putting parts back on it. Like the mirror would come loose, the door handles would come loose, the shifter kept coming disconnected from the linkage under the car when he was driving, so he'd have to pull it or get in there and put another. He'd just have nuts in the car. Like his little repair kit that he had in the dashboard just had fucking nuts, because no matter how much lock sealer you put on it, like the JB Weld Red, it would still work its way loose. Like, it was just a really poor design. Trabant was from East Germany. Okay, that's not the car I was thinking of then. So I know Ferrari owns Alfa Romeo, right? That's like their cheaper street driving cars. And have they always been that way? Or did they buy them? Because I think Alpha now is like good because Ferrari owns them, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Alpha was like a shit bucket back in the day, but now they got like the C8 Competenzione, which is, well, actually still a shit car, but looks beautiful and apparently is somewhat reliable. I know somebody who owns one. So you want to talk about this $400 iPhone?
Oh yeah, that just came out. They just announced that a couple days back.
That seems very un-Apple.
Yeah, it's the SE, and it seems to have similar guts to the iPhone 11.
So single camera. I'm looking at it right now. Lots of love, less to spend. I have to imagine that this was somehow this iPhone SE was influenced by the current situation in some way. Because I don't. I mean, is Apple? Do they really ever have a cheap offering like this? And by cheap, I use that loosely.
Yeah, they did the.
They did the 5S, didn't they?
I was gonna say there's like either the 4 or 5S where it was like it was plastic. I think it had like a plastic shell and all those like 4 or 5 different colors and stuff.
Yep.
So.
Oh, it does. It has the same chip as the iPhone 11 Pro. You're right. So it's got the A13 in it.
And so, I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
That's a good phone. It's got a nice screen in it. So it says, we put the brains of the iPhone 11 Pro into the body of an iPhone SE, which is smaller screen, smaller form factor, 1 camera.
Which I think is a good move, honestly. Like, I like the 4.7 inch form factor for iPhones and stuff. I think they did a good job.
Dude, this cost, I want to say this was like $1,200. Like, and they're selling the thing with the same guts in it with like -2 cameras for $400 now.
Yeah,
I got robbed. They got me again.
And like we all know, Apple does a really good job with their camera. Like, come on.
They do. It's mostly software, though. Let's be clear. It's mostly software.
True.
Apple has some really ridiculous software that's manipulating the sensor. Because if you look at the camera on paper, like the camera on this versus like some of the Android phones, the Android phone just walks it. But with the image processing and everything, you put the photos side by side or the videos side by side, and you're like, okay, I'd still take the Apple.
Yeah.
They're really good with post-processing.
Oh, and they brought back the home button.
Oh, no, they did. I love that fucking thing.
Yep.
So this is like this is okay. So I could sell this probably for what could I get for this, guys? If I wanted to get the shittier, smaller, like anybody want to buy this for like $900? I don't know.
You probably could.
Probably.
Honestly. You still got the box and shit.
Yeah, I definitely do. I keep all the boxes for my Apple stuff.
You could probably get $800 or $900 for it. Easy.
Yeah, you know, the most I've ever sold a secondhand electronic for was an Apple product, ever. And so it was a MacBook Pro 17 from 2011, and I sold it in 2015 for $1,500 to a guy that had a turtleneck. He literally showed up in a turtleneck sweater on like an 80-degree day, and he had hipster glasses on, and he bought it from me like in a public place, like at a little coffee bar. He bought it from me for $1,500. And I think originally, now to give you an idea, I originally paid $3,200 for it in 2011 because it was a fully spec MacBook. But still, have you ever bought an electronic device and then 3.5, 4 years later sell it for half of what you bought it for? You don't.
Yeah, I wonder what I can get for my MacBook Pro.
Hey, Singing Wolf, thank you for the $10 super chat. We appreciate that. Siri, stop listening to me, goddammit. Meanwhile, I'm cruising through Missouri at 70 miles an hour at about 1,400 RPM in a big rig. And 1,400 RPM in a big rig, that's actually turning some pretty good RPMs, because don't those things like cap out at like 3,000 or 2,500 or something, those big diesel motors?
Just moving and cruising.
They're like blub, 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 blub. I actually drove a semi once. When I was about 13 years old, my dad let me drive a really old, it was a big red dump truck. And it was fucking massive. And the clutch, I remember the clutch, I had to lean forward on the seat and actually push my back into the base of the seat to push the clutch in, because the clutch was heavier than I was. And so I'd push the clutch in, and then I remember it had 2 shifters in it. It had one shifter that was like, I think 8 gears. And then it had another shifter that was like the half gears or something. My dad did the shifting. I didn't do the shifting. He just told me to push in the clutch, release the clutch. And it had so much torque, I never had to touch the gas pedal. We literally were just sitting there idling it, and I just let the clutch out, and it starts going, and it's like going like, 1 millimeter a second. They're like kind of bucking a little bit, and then he's like, push the clutch in again, and he does something with the shifters, and I let the clutch out, and then we're going slightly, almost imperceivably slow. And we went through like 4 gears, and then I just let the thing idle itself all the way down the driveway. And I was like, dude, this is cool. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
My dad was kind of an asshole growing up and abusive and stuff, but he had a couple shining moments where he let me do shit because he was drunk and he couldn't do it. That, like, I got to drive a boat once. I thought that was really cool. When I was like 12 years old, I had to drive the boat because he was so fucking wasted drunk. He could not get it up to the dock. So he just let me drive the boat. And then he was so checked out that I literally just drove the boat around until we were almost out of gas just because I was having a good time and he wasn't paying attention. and then he backs the fucking truck into the water and like all the way down to the tailgate and like submerges the whole back end of the truck, the whole tailgate of the truck. You can see the water almost like lifting the truck up, like you can see the bed doing this on the truck. And then my dad just gets out of the truck and like walks up on the dock and starts loading the boat, but the boat was floating so high that it didn't even touch the trailer. So then he had to get the truck and pull it forward again until it was like touching the boat. And a bunch of guys on the dock were like, "Hey, we can help you with that. Hey dude, we can help you." But fuck off, I got this, I know what I'm doing. You just pissed drunk. And I was like, dude, please somebody call the cops. Please. Dude, there were so many moments with my dad where I was like, please call the cops. I just want to see the cops show up and just like taser my dad. This will be awesome. Good times. Good times. James Janus said, Barnacules AuxZillary, how do you guys feel about Xbox Live service being free on PC, but costing money on Xbox console doesn't really make sense? That's a good question.
I don't know why any of the online stuff for either console is a pay service.
That's a really good question because if you think about it, they're no different. They're no different. The service that you're logging into, Xbox Live on the PC, is exactly the same servers, exactly the same service, exactly the same features. Your Xbox doesn't do anything your PC doesn't. Yeah, so why do you have to? The only thing I can think of is because they've charged for it for so long, and they know people aren't going to buy it for their PC. Like, they're just not, right? Because on PC, you can just play games for free over networking. You don't need a centralized server, whereas on the console, you're completely tied to it. I think they charge you because they can, and they realize that by having more people join on PC through Xbox, that's going to be more crossplay with consoles, and that's going to make the ecosystem bigger. So they give it to the PC guys for free because they know they don't have to pay for it. Whereas on the console, you've always had to pay for it, and there's no alternative. Like, you can't do online play without it. Whereas on a PC, you can do online play without Xbox Live. But that's a good question. I never really gave that much thought. But yeah, that's bullshit. Trevor Williams said $750 for what? He just said $750.
But I am looking on eBay to see what I might be able to get for my
for your
June 2012 MacBook Pro.
Ooh, is it a 17-inch or is it a 15?
I don't know. I think it's a 15.
Dude, if it's a 17, you will get a shitload for it because they stopped making them.
I might still be able to get like $300.
Because they actually, I think 2011, I don't know, was 2011 the last year they did the 17? I don't think it was. I think they did it for a couple more years.
I'm seeing 15s on eBay. 13 and 15.
This year, 2012.
I'm pretty sure mine's a 15.
Yeah, I know those aren't that sought after. So I mean, you'll get a decent amount of money, but it's the 17-inch screen that made mine so valuable because they stopped making 17-inch screens and everybody wanted them still. So
I know it's pretty popular because it's like the last one before they started soldering in the memory.
And so it's upgradable.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might drop some bucks and put, a 500 gig Evo Pro in there.
So here, let's see, a MacBook Pro 15-inch Core i7, $365, and it's still being bid up. And that's for a mid 2012 2.3.
I don't think I have the box and stuff anymore. I have the charger with like this ridiculously long cable on it. I should try and move that. It's just sitting up in my closet. I need money.
Wow, that MacBook. Okay, so a 2011 MacBook Pro 17-inch is still going for over $200 up to $400.
Now.
For a 2011, a 9-year-old laptop.
Yeah,
you're not going to find a PC laptop that's commanding that money after that long, even with better specs. It's just people love that billet design.
Yeah,
that's what I liked about it. Like the 2011 was like the last year where the whole laptop was all just one billet piece of metal, and it was awesome. Yeah. There was none of that plasticky shit anywhere on it. Had a really good feeling keyboard. Didn't run Windows for shit though. That's the one thing I didn't like about it. One of the reasons why I got rid of it a couple of years later is it never ran Windows 10 right.
I boot camped mine forever. I ran Windows on that thing for years. Yeah, I liked mine. Yeah.
NDM cover said, "Hey Barnacules, are you still mining Bitcoin?" No, I haven't mined Bitcoin in a very long time because it's not profitable unless you have free power and you don't need HVAC. There's no reason to mine Bitcoin. It's better to just buy it and sell it, just day trade it.
Yeah.
And it's risky as fuck, so if you lose all your money, don't get mad at me. What graphics? You have a 2080 Ti, don't you? Or is it a 1080 Ti?
I have a 1080.
1080, okay. Dude, I want a 2080 Ti so bad. NVIDIA like changed the rules, and I hate it. Like I have a 2080 Super, and I'm like, oh, that's almost as good as a 2080 Ti. Not even close. Not even a fucking ballpark.
For dollar to performance, it is. Like,
fair enough.
Dude,
fair enough.
You're gonna drop $1,200 on a Ti for another 10-15% performance boost.
I think it's more than that. I think it's like 30. it's a lot, dude. So look at 2080 Ti versus Super.
Let's see. Userbenchmark.com. Let's see. About $720 for the Super, or $1,100 for the. Okay, we're looking.
Oh, the Ti came down, dude.
32%.
Dude, the Ti used to be like $1,500, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they dropped
it retailed at 12.
Oh, did it really? Okay, so it just came down a little.
Yeah.
So 32% increase in effective speed, 26% in average benchmark, 34% in overclocked benchmark. So it's much more overclockable, which it's the faster card and it's more overclockable. That's weird. Let's see. Oh, actually only plus 6% in frames per second though from most games. So even though its processing power and benchmarks is a lot higher, its practical speed in games doesn't seem like it's only a little bit.
I think you're okay,
but
man.
Still, man, I cannot believe they made the Ti so powerful in this generation. Like the 1080 and the 1080 Ti weren't crazy that far apart.
Yeah, it's Titan levels. Like,
yeah, it is exactly. It's almost like they just took a Titan and just like they binned it and we're like, oh, this isn't quite good enough to be a Titan. Let's just throw it on a fucking card and sell it for like $400 cheaper.
But then you compare the 2080 Ti to the Titan RTX, and it's like,
yeah, the Titan RTX is in a different hemisphere.
It's crazy.
Like, and that's the thing is, like, the evolution, like, if you look at it from, like, the 980 to the 10 series, it was a big increase. But from the 10 series to the 20 series, it was fucking astronomical. So does that mean when, like, the 3000 series drops, it's going to be, like, imperceivable? Like, we're, like, literally the Xbox One, or was it Xbox Series X or whatever that's coming out? Fuck you, Microsoft, for naming it that. You're going to fuck over so many parents on Christmas. You know how many kids are going to get Xbox One S's and Xbox One X's because their parents were like, oh, that's the cheaper one? I'll just get them the base model. And they're, dude, Microsoft, you like fucking, why?
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing. Like, somebody should have stood up in that meeting and just been like, guys are fucking idiots. Like, how is that anything other than a scam? I mean, honestly, like, I know Microsoft, like, you wouldn't think that they'd be scammy, but that's a scammy naming convention. Let's just be honest. Because it's Xbox One X and Xbox Series X. So Xbox One and Xbox Series are synonymous, like, when you think about it. Like, if you don't know your shit. So I genuinely think this Christmas you're going to see a bunch of Xbox One X's piled up next to the Xbox Series X's, and the parents are going to be like, oh, that's $400 cheaper. I'm going to grab that one instead. And then then the entitled little shits are going to be like, Mom, fuck you, I hate you, I hope you die because I didn't get the Xbox I wanted, fuck you. I'm sorry, son, I'm so sorry. Oh, fuck you, I hate you. Slamming the door. Because that's how kids are these days.
Your 2080 Super is almost on par with my 1080 Ti.
Wait, the 1080 is faster?
No. You're just a little bit ahead.
Really? So does that mean a 1080 Ti is faster than a 2080 normal?
Probably, or at least a little bit more.
Just without the ray tracing engine, right?
Right.
So a 1080 Ti versus 2080.
Yeah, they're practically equal. 10%.
Wow. Okay. So that's well. Actually, look at the prices though, dude. Yeah. 700 versus 800. That shines. Yeah. I mean, they obviously were trying to price them in the ballpark of their performance.
I would trade my 1080 Ti for a 2080 Super. Straight across. If somebody wanted to do that, hell, I'd probably even give them $100.
Yeah, well, you'd have to give them the $100 because I mean, there's $100 difference between the two cards, but it'd be worth the $100 to get another 10% in RTX.
Yeah, that's what gets me, man. Is I want that RTX. Man.
I just dropped ass so hard.
I want that ray tracing. I want that. It looks. I bet that's cool.
Dude, the 2080 has 45% faster multi-rendering. Yep. That's crazy. And it has it has 50% faster peak multi-rendering, has better Fortnite FPS by 21%, better PUBG performance by 20%. Okay, so it starts gapping it pretty hard when you get down to the actual frame rates, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's fun.
So who here's going to buy a $400 iPhone? Any takers? Is that finally at a price where people are going to be like, okay, I'm going to give iOS a try, or are you still all hardcore Android guys?
If I were in the market, it would certainly be Interesting. I'm not invested enough in the Apple ecosystem to change now. I can't. I have to stay with Android. It's just too convenient to change. Everything is locked into Google. I don't have to fiddle around with apps and stuff. I'm not changing.
What phone are you using right now?
A Note 8.
Ooh, that's a fancy phone.
I like it.
Note 8 was actually the phone that was supposed to drag me away from iPhone, but I was supposed to get one and I never did, and then I just ended up sticking with the iPhone.
Phones should be $200. There's $200 options that are really good, actually. That's totally like everybody thinks about flagship phones because that's the ones they advertise all the time. There are okay, this might be more than $200, but like the Galaxy S10e, I think is like the budget version of the newest, and I'm seeing them for $270.
Yeah, I know the OnePlus series is pretty cheap.
$500. Yeah, OnePlus
has some
if you
cheap
get like
options.
a generation or two back, you'll drop $200 on an older-ish OnePlus, like a OnePlus 7. I bet right now you could probably get for $200, $250.
Or if you don't mind waiting like 3 months to get your phone, you can go on Alibaba and buy one of like the weird fucking brand, like you can get some crazy brands on Alibaba that actually have the same specs as like a Note 8 for like a quarter of the price, but it's like some fucking rip-off brand that cloned another phone that they can't export legally to another country. So I probably shouldn't be promoting people buying those, but I'm just saying if you're poor people, like go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Well, you can get that Nokia banana phone for like $100.
Let's see, what's the cheapest?
The 8110 4G is like $100.
$100 for a phone?
Yeah.
Here, let's see. Okay, so best cheap phones of 2020. Let's see what we got. Okay, so the Moto G7, Nokia 6.2, Google Pixel 3a, Samsung Galaxy A50. Best under $200, the Nokia 4.2. One in this 4.2. Yeah, this is Android Central did a test of all the cheap phones. And the one that was the best under 200 is a Nokia 4.2, and the best under 100 is the Nokia 5. There's a phone under $100 called the Nokia 5. I want to look this up here. Nokia 5.
This looks pretty good, man. Nokia 4.2. Do that shit.
Okay, so Nokia 5, full specs. Let me open this up.
Here first, folks. We get you cheap phone options in minutes.
Okay, so here it is. So it was released in 2017. They're still manufacturing it. It's got 16 gig of storage with a micro SD expansion. It's got, let's see what else it's got here. 3 gigabytes of RAM, 3000 mAh battery, so pretty small battery. Well, actually, 3000 mAh isn't small for a phone. For a phone that size, that's okay. It's only got a 13 megapixel 1080p camera, and the front-facing camera is only 720 by 1280. So it's like low HD. But for under $100, like how can you like? It's crazy to even think that. It's like my phone costs 12 of these. I can have 12 of these phones and strategically just place them everywhere throughout my life.
There you go.
Something tells me the processor in it is going to be like butter, though. Let's see. What do we got here? I don't know. What's a good Geekbench score?
I have no clue.
Because it said in Geekbench this thing got a 2851, but if I remember right, when I ran it on my iPhone, I thought it was like 12,000 or something like that. So that would put this at pretty goddamn slow. Oh, or you can buy a Xiaomi. You can get a fucking Xiaomi, like, full-screen face phone with fingerprint detection and everything for $111.
Boom.
Look at this. This was released in 2019.
Don't mind China having all your info.
Yeah, so it's the Xiaomi Redmi 8. This is one of those Alibaba phones that I was talking about. 5,000 mAh battery. Dude, 5,000 mAh battery, and its Geekbench score. Hold on, let me find its Geekbench score. Where is it? Display, body. Oh, they didn't even run it? Okay, well, that's fucking awesome. Let's see, what does it got? So it's got all the features of everything else. Still only a 1080 30 frames per second camera though. So it's got a pretty.
Who's recording videos? Come on,
right, dude? It's got Gorilla Glass though.
His stream off of an iPhone.
Ooh, it's got an IPS screen that's full size. Well, almost full size, just shy of full size. Okay,
that's well, pretty nice,
dude. For $100 and some though, like, oh my god, like how? Oh, there it is. I found the Samsung Galaxy you were talking about, the J2 Core, $111.
Yep.
So the Samsung J2 Core has a 2600 milliamp hour battery. That's shit. It's only got 1 gig of RAM. It's got an 8 megapixel camera.
Oh, that's not that good.
Dude, okay, this is shit. Like, honestly, the Xiaomi is like double the specs of this phone for the same exact price. Except for China spies on you and watches you change your clothes in the morning.
Right.
I've never even heard of Xiaomi, bro. Well, shit, we've been streaming. I think we passed our limit, bro. I think we passed
by
our
a
limit.
minute.
We passed it by a minute.
I mean, we did start a little late, but we're close.
We did. So we're staying there. So, guys, it has been a wonderful show today. Make sure that you check the video description for links to our Twitch channels where we also stream throughout the week. We do this once a week, but we're always streaming over on our Twitch channels. Make sure you go over there, give us a follow, and make sure you're getting those notifications when we go live so that you don't have to enter chat and go, I didn't know you streamed on Twitch. You'll know it. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind before you leave, smash that like button just so that this video gets, I don't know, enough likes that other people find it. When it's done processing and it goes live. And let's see, is there anything else that we need to tell the troops? Thank you so much for your super chats today. We appreciate those.
For being here.
We split those between us because most of these videos do end up getting demonetized because we can't help but say coronavirus every time, and YouTube hates us.
No.
But it's okay because YouTube's actually lightened up. I think 2 of the videos we said coronavirus and they kept monetized, but it doesn't matter. These videos, as we went through and looked at, they make like $9 or something like that. So the super chats are what primarily fund us, so we really do appreciate that. Thank you guys for your support, and everybody, you have a wonderful, fantabulous day, a fantabulous week, and don't let this shit get you down too much, because we still got a little ways to go before this is all over and behind us. And I don't know, is there? Oh, did you want to put up your advertising space line one more time? Tell people to get in touch with you.
For reals this time.
There you go, for reals. It's getting serious.
If you'd like. Oh, actually, while we're at it, I said I would. I said to one guy I would put it on my paper for next time, and I will. But also, I'll just post them in the chat real fast. These are the folks who reached out to me, and whoops, where is the other one? Blast. Where'd it go?
I have faith you'll find it. Young Houston Walker.
And this guy.
Did you find him?
Yep.
Sweet. So yeah, he's I'm encouraging the advertisement sign. So guys, rent that space, and if it works out for him and everything goes well, then I'll have my own little advertisement sign too. I'll be because at the end of the day, this is how we're gonna survive moving forward. Because now apparently being a YouTuber is the only legitimate job left on the planet.
That's right, and I'm not doing too well at the twitching, so
so we got to make it where we can. Brian PC, thank you for that 10 pounds, man. That is super generous of you. We really do appreciate that. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place. I think we're good, right? No schedule change.
Yep. No.
All right.
We're good to go.
10 a.m. next Saturday. And if you guys would like us to talk about certain topics, just tag at TechTalk on Twitter and your request for a topic. And if it's cool enough, we will add it to the roster. And you might even get in the title of the video. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Now I got to do the whole thing where I push end, and then I push end again, and then I got to push end again because it didn't think I wanted to push end.